Well, it is a wonderful, bright, hot evening. That didn't even make sense. How is it a bright evening, you ask? Well, I tell you what, it's because of the show that we have planned tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Saturday to you from the great state of Texas. They say everything's bigger in Texas, and I can 100% oblige and agree with that statement. Pause moment for my Eastern coasters. Pause moment for everybody that's listening to me right now. Hey, I see some of you are at work. I hope that this shift or this show makes your shift a lot better. Thank you for tuning in while you're at work. Shout out to Kier 101, Tony Morrison, as well as Organic Black, my top three. And listen, all of us are the top. If you're watching me, you're in my top for sure. But I have to give a shout out to the top three contributors to this channel. We're going to have the new audio interface back in a few weeks, to be honest. Apparently, Amazon takes a couple weeks to process returns. But no matter, we're moving forward as 115 people are currently watching. Like the video on your way in, Tony Morrison says. If you're a member of the channel, I want to give a huge shout out to you as well. You get the badge and a couple of different icons to use as far as the emotes go in the chat. For our audio listeners only, we'll do our very best to ensure that everything that we're saying on this video live stream will be clearly interpreted through the audio experience as well. I am not usually this amped up and excited for a show, but today is going to be an incredible show. I'm sure we're going to have some technical difficulties. The light might go out. If it does, we'll try and get the light back on. I bought a powered USB hub for the lady that actually sent me an email. Shout out to you. However, I've realized that this powered USB hub probably wasn't the best idea to buy since it was one of the cheaper ones. I've learned my lesson, and we'll see how good it does. Forgive me, y'all. I'm excited for this show. Y'all have no idea how amazing of a show this is getting ready to be. I wasn't feeling my usual self on the last live stream, if you could tell. I was a little under the weather. I don't know what was going on. Maybe it was a cerveza. I'm not sure. Maybe I need to be wearing a mask as I go out in public. I'm not sure. But speaking of cerveza, let's go ahead and move on to a couple of news articles. Let's go ahead and move on, and we're going to start with a couple of news articles. We're going to wait no further. These stories will be pretty funny for the most part today. We're going to keep it a little bit lighter. Because we're going to get heavy into it later on in this live stream. We've got some haters, a lot of people that are not really agreeing and liking the message that we're saying on this channel, but none of the matter. We're going to continue to move on. I'm not sure where this article actually took place, but this was on my Instagram. And this isn't really news, for the most part, but it's something funny that we can and if you're listening on audio, I'm going to describe it once again my very best. A man was seen hopping into a miniature vehicle. Yes, he's a black man. He's a black male. We're going to play the audio here, and he was caught on recording and on film. The audio is pretty funny, but not as funny as the vehicle. So he's got a leaf blower type engine in the back of it. Right now, he's pulling the engine. He didn't get it the first time. He's going to pull again. He's about to take off. All right. Legs are out of the bottom of the vehicle.
His feet are in the ground.
My goodness. And he is off, ladies and gentlemen. He is off. And it's a pretty fast little vehicle. Look at it. That thing's moving. Shout out to him. I understand the no license struggle. I've been there for years on end. I understand that. Let's move on to our next article. I got to give a shout out to one of the degenerates of the community. However, I have to give props and credit where credit is due. I'll never not give props and credit where credit is due. I got to be 100 about it. All right. So 21 Savage recently held his 6th annual Issa Back to School drive. Now, Issa is a meme for 21 Savage. He has a song, I think, called Issa, or maybe he has a tattoo. I think that's a knife. And he was famously quoted in the interview. They said, "What is that tattoo in the middle of your forehead?" And he kind of sat back. He said, "It's a knife." And that became a meme, right? Issa. So 21 Savage had his Issa 6th annual back to school drive. And listen, he gave out laptops, shoes, haircuts, school supplies, and more. Hey, if we're going to use degenerate acts, and I always talk about gangsters and, the mob and, organized crime being used to actually help and progress the black community, I have no problem with the Issa back to school drive. Let's hear a little bit of the lyrics. Hopefully it's not completely destructive.
Everything they need for school. I love everybody. I love all y'all. I can't take no picture with everybody, so I ain't gonna take no picture with nobody. I'm sorry about that. I hope everybody.
Now, listen, I have no problem with that. We're going to continue with the volume off there so you can still see the audio recording or the video recording. I have no problem with that. Listen, I understand not everybody can make money doing certain things, whatever it might be. If you find out a way to become a millionaire, even if it's talking about killing your own people, I'll give it a pass as long as you just remember the community that you made the millions off of. I'll give it a pass. I've said that before, and I'll keep saying that. Right. Let's move on to our next article. This is a really encouraging story. Some of you might have heard, and we played the dreadlocked Florida man who was screaming in court, right? The man who killed his special needs daughter and wife and tried to kill his son. The son's been adopted, ladies and gentlemen. The son has been adopted. We have 2 more news articles to go, and we're going to dive deep into this message today. The son has been adopted. This was a great news story and a great ending to this horrific tragedy that happened. But this son has been adopted. This is the man, by the way, if you don't remember him, this is him in the right, obviously right here. This boy has been adopted by the white police officer that was called to the scene. I'm not going to play this clip from 911. It is horrific. I'm not going to play that. Oh, 1 second.
Why this was happening.
Then his father, Ronnie O'Neill III, turned on the youngster, stabbing him 20 times and setting him on fire.
He has to be a miracle.
Oh, my God.
The fact that the injuries that he sustained and what he went through, there's absolutely
he set
no
him
reason
on
he should be
fire.
alive.
Hillsborough County, Florida Detective Michael Blair was assigned to investigate.
It was the most gruesome case I'd ever worked.
Ronnie's ordeal was not over. In June, O'Neill was tried for murder.
So you can go over and take y'all time looking at it yourselves to see whether I'm lying or not.
Acting as his own attorney, he actually cross-examined his own son.
And how did I hurt you?
You stabbed me. I stood my ground.
O'Neill was found guilty and was sentenced to life in prison by a judge who could barely hold back her contempt.
I'm going to look the eye and tell you, this is the worst case I've ever seen.
For young Ronnie, the emotional and physical scars from that horrific day are slowly healing.
Dear Lord, thank you for this food.
And now this story takes a remarkable turn. Ronnie has been adopted by Detective Blair and his wife, Danielle. He is their 6th child.
I did know that
There's your white supremacy. Negroids, there's the white supremacy once again at work. Lord have mercy. Shout out to that man. Shout out to that family for taking on the lifelong, I don't want to say burden, but responsibility of raising another child. At the end of the day, that's exactly what that kid needs, is to be as far away from Blackistan as humanly possible, where acts like that happen a lot more frequently than a lot of our people are willing to tell the police, because, of course, there's a no snitching policy in Blackistan. You can't snitch. You can't have order in your community. How dare you? The last news story is going to be a comical one to wrap up this one. This was actually seen. Some of you might have seen this, but the state of Arkansas used a street mob figurine type man to promote the vaccine. Now, listen, I have no problem with the vaccine. I have no problem with whatever side you want to stand on for this invasive virus. But this was comical, and I thought we needed to go ahead and see it. It was pretty funny, and I was really entertained by it. So let's not try and get too political here, ladies and gentlemen. Do whatever you feel like is most conducive for your health, but let's watch this together.
I'm a legit entrepreneur. I sell things. I come in contact with people all the time. I have to stay safe. I didn't have a choice but to trust the vaccine. If you live the type of lifestyle that I live, you out here in these streets and you hustling, an entrepreneur like me, why not do it safely? So I want everybody to take this seriously. Take a shot at staying healthy. Get the vaccine. All
right. Well, we have our word from Ray Ray. Thank you, Ray Ray, for bringing that into light there. Thank you, Ray Ray, for bringing that into light. So the message of today's live stream, right? The message of today's live stream, I was going to play another video, but we're going to save this one for next time. We're going to save this one for next time. We played enough videos for today. Why most black men have no value. Now, this was something that obviously is something that we hear all the time on Mr. Scamio's channel, and all these men think that they have high value, when in reality, they have no idea what value is. We're going to break down exactly what value is and why most, and when I say most, I mean an overwhelming majority, most black men don't have value, and they never will have value. Oh, Lord. This is going to be a good one today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm feeling it today. A few statistics to start us off with. Today, we're going to discuss why on this channel we are going to say what we already know. However, my analytics say that nearly 40% of the viewers on this channel aren't subscribed, meaning that a very large part of, where's my transition? I didn't even load up my transition. I'll do it manually. Dadgummit, you're watching Truth Seekers Live. Let's go. I don't have my little transition button. It's all right. We're going to make it. 40% of my people that watch this channel aren't subscribed. So most likely it's the black males who let the curiosity get the best of them. Since those black males love to talk about statistics, we're going to take a look at a few statistics for you today in relation to the earning of black men. Now, I've been getting a lot of emails saying, Truth, we're not the lowest. We we not the lowest earning black male though. Here's a stat. Here's a stat. Here's a stat. And I'm gonna bring up to knowledge and discussion today exactly how these stats should be translated versus how you're translating them. Okay. Now, like always, I want to preface this message with a message. There are black men who make good money in America. All right. It's a figurative tip my hat to you. All right. And we will talk about this as well in the next live stream, the Golden Dusty. That's a term that was coined by Coriander Yander on YouTube, the Golden Dusty. On the last live stream, we talked about and shared personal stories from those of you who grew up in Blackistan. So today, I want to stay in that same lane and focus on the economic earnings of black males. You see, one thing I always see here is Kevin Scamill's talking about the fact that black and white men's median salaries are closely tied, and this can't be further from the truth. Now, here are the stats since we got to see some stats. All right. I'm not going to even bore you with the stats too long. I'm just going to show you what a lot of the black males are sending me. All right. So we can kind of get this out of the way because they're going to claim that I'm just, and thank you for the $5 super chat. I see that in there. PewResearch.org says this: black and Hispanic men, for their part, have made no progress in narrowing the wage gap with white men since 1980, in part because there have been no improvements in the hourly earnings of white, black, or Hispanic men, blah, 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 blah. As a result, black men earn the same 73%, blah, 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 blah. All right, so this is the sentence that's important here. Black and Hispanic men, for the most part, have made no progress. All right, they were very clear in letting me know that. True, you see, the Hispanic man they be just like it though. Okay, all right. Here we go. So let's talk about this and let me interpret as best as I can, my Negroid brethren, why this stat and article is not truly reflective on the actual literal term of value. All right, because this is something they always like to say. Oh, as a woman, what be your value though? What you bringing to my table? Because I own the table, and you have to have some value. Bring my to my $5 super chat from Gulf Coast Granny says, I love your common sense approach to your community's issues. Been watching some videos today. So nice to meet you in our stream last night. Listen, I was watching Gulf Coast Granny's stream last night, and it was the most entertaining stream I have ever seen. It is absolute hilarity. You'll see me commenting on there. Check out Gulf Coast Granny. She has a very dynamic Friday night stream, and you'll understand exactly why I'm saying this once you check her out. So thank you so much, Gulf Coast Granny, for the support. We're going to continue on with tonight's message. What you mean we don't have no value? Now, in reference to this, black and Hispanic men have not made progress or whatnot. All right, this is black men running to the keyboard. See, true. It's not just the white man that's suppressing us. That he suppressed the Mexican men too. Now, situational nuance, something that we never hear black men refer to. Right? It's either hot or cold for black men. For black males. The term Hispanic implies here that there's a possibility that citizenship status may or may not be comparative levels in regards to the relation of black men. All right. Now, if you Google Hispanic on Google, it literally says the term Hispanic is relating to Spain or Spanish-speaking countries, especially those of Latin America. Latin America is any country that's Mexico and below, Latin and Southern America. Okay. So let's get this out of the way first. All right. Moreover, now we know that's not Spain, right? Because Spaniards aren't coming to America to vacate. They might go to Cali, they might go to Miami, but for the most part, we go to Spain and Italy and Europe to vacate. So the Hispanic numbers in this case, a lot of the times, aren't necessarily the ones that are in Europe right now. It's pretty much the ones that are below the border. We just got to get that out of the way. All right. This is the reason why you never meet anybody from the UK or Spain or Germany or wherever. Now, you'll meet a lot of Americans if you go to Europe or Germany or Spain because we vacate over there. You're more likely to run into a plethora of Americans there versus a plethora of Spaniards here. Now, back to the term Hispanic. Since we can assume and agree that most Spanish-speaking European citizens are not moving to America, it can be assumed that Google's second description, or Latin Americans, which is Hispanic referring to, are the ones that these numbers are made off of. This is important to know going forward. The biggest issue that black males have with me is my unmovable stance on why I refuse to acknowledge white supremacy. When we had the angry black male call-in day, every single detractor and black male called in echoed the same sentiment. We are where we is because the white man be all up. My conversations with the Mexican men, I have never heard in my 4.5 years of doing construction a single Mexican man complaining and victimizing themselves to white supremacy. Not one time. How do I know? By the way, half my family's from a Spanish-speaking country, okay? So I'm pretty good with Spanish. Never have I once heard white men complaining about white supremacy. Never. Yet these numbers show that they're running the same race with us, right? No, they're not. We're going to break this down, ladies and gentlemen. We have a hell of a show for you today. In all my years working construction, I never heard a conversation where Hispanic men were complaining about the injustices of white men. And yes, I do speak a good amount of Spanish. When lunchtime comes, they joke, laugh, ate in each other's cars, rode together to get lunch, blasted their music, the Tejano music through the stereos, and enjoyed themselves within their community. You see, the Hispanic man knows how some white men look at him. Not most, by the way, how some look at him. However, it doesn't matter to him because he knows that his community has his back. Now we're going to start to break the term down of value and why I'm making this about value. This is going to make sense in a while. You're going to have to stick with me. He knows that he needs a serious monetary job service to him and his family, that he has a community of men that have identified and perfected their crafts at each and every one of those jobs. What do I mean? Let's take a look at some of life's most common and costly repairs. Thank you for that $5 super chat. $5 super chat from Yvonne Goddess says, I'm back with another one. Thank you for your message. Thank you for the support, Yvonne. You are back and you found a dynamic stream to be in tonight. 311 people watching, ladies and gentlemen. We are in for a show. Each of these points I'm going to bring up in a little bit reflect a necessity of life that we must have in order to live a normal adult life in socio-capitalistic America. Number one, a car. It goes without saying that car repairs can be some of the most tedious, expensive, annoying, and cumbersome situations that life can present. Car repairs can run into the thousands, sometimes the tens of thousands. A lot of the time, it seems as if you fix one thing on a vehicle only to have another issue pop up. The thought of impending car problems is enough for most of us to simply chunk up the deuces of the car, put it on Craigslist, and take the loss because of how stressful and financially draining the situation can be. Now, say you want to get your car repaired for a lower price. What group of men immediately pop into your mind? Let's talk value. Let's talk value and what black men have in value. If you want to get your car repaired professionally, well done, comparatively to some of the Pep Boys or large automobile dealers, what race of men pops into your mind to have a great job done in your car? Is it black men? Shantae Paris says Mexican. Oh, Mexican. Crackhead says KR. KR, you're close. You're close, KR. You're close. Almost there. Let's keep it going. Hispanics. It looks like a lot of you are going to understand. Keena says, Tip, it ain't black men. Keena, you are on the money, Keena. You're right, ladies and gentlemen. You're very right. It is Hispanic men. Right? When you can't take your car into the dealership, which is predominantly owned by white men, what other race of males has the ability and the skill set needed to solve your vehicular problems at a rate that is far more comfortable to your pocketbooks? When you need a cheaper pair of tires just to make it through the next month, who is installing those tires on your car? You see, Hispanic men understand something about value that black men just do not understand. And this is why value is not akin to monetary earnings. Value is a completely different set of circumstances and rules that define that term. This is why most black men have no value. Okay. They understand that even though they don't make the most money, they can place themselves into positions where most cost detrimental obstacles can still be fulfilled by them due to their strategic positioning of where they place themselves in the community. Let's look at another expensive fix, and I'll expand on this a bit more. We're talking value, ladies and gentlemen. 343 people watching. House repair. Thank you for that Cash App. If you want to donate on the Cash App, ladies and gentlemen, let me put the Cash App link. I forget to put the links up. I know some of you don't like when I say, hey, can you donate to the channel? I'm sorry. And you don't have to donate. I have all the equipment I need now, but hey, listen, I love when y'all donate, and it really does help to move a lot of different things and shake a lot of different things in my life. So we're going to move on with point number 2 here. I'm just going to put the links up. Don't hate me. There's the PayPal link, paypal.me/thehonestTruth. Cash App. I don't know how to say this. Cash.app. Truth Seekers. $ Truth Seekers. TruthSeekers. No E at the end. SEEKRS. Here we go. Point number 2. We're talking value. Say you need house repair or a house add-on. If something breaks down in your house, say you need plumbing serviced or a wall patched or a deck was made in your backyard and you want a deck or you need a deck repaired and you're looking for the most cost-effective solution, what group of men immediately pops up into your mind? Is it the Asian men who you call to prospect the removal of linoleum in your newly recently purchased home? Is it the Middle Easterners who you scour the ads on Craigslist for? Keep in mind, we're comparing Hispanic men and black men right now, since black men, they don't be earning that much more than us. Value. Is it the black men in your community that you know you have the ability to call upon when you need help fixing your plumbing? No, it's not. K. Dottie says, Mexicans put the tires on my car. Arda Aries says, usually Mexican or white. Dark Matter Melanin says, Latinos. KLIC says, immigrants, period. Ladies and gentlemen, you are right. Once again, this is Hispanic males. We even have an offensive running joke when somebody needs professional services done at a reasonable cost. We joke, and this is a horrible joke to say, we said, we'll just find a couple Hispanics to do it for cheap, because you know that the value that they're able to provide to you far supersedes the cost associated with that value. Money transitioned or transaction and value are not the same. Money earned and value is not the same. They're two different concepts. This is yet another example of situational nuance that black males lack. Black males, by and large, do not pose mechanical skills and traits needed to fulfill the roles that Hispanic men have been able to fulfill in their communities for decades now. And this leads me to my next point. This chart claims that black males out-earn Hispanic males. Now, like we covered earlier, Hispanic males might not necessarily always be on the books for obvious reasons, all right, due to various circumstances. I'm not meaning this for any offense, of course, okay? But that does not mean that they are lower earners. I would venture to say that if you lined up 10 Hispanic males, especially in Texas, and 10 black males and looked at their everyday aspect of life, the car they drive, the apartment or house that they live in, their family structure, and every other quality of life aspect in America that could be compared, 8 times out of 10, Mexican men or Hispanic men will outshine black men. All right? I live in Texas. I see this for myself. The biggest wad of cash I ever saw in my life was by a Mexican man who spoke only Spanish. He used to come to the feed mill. He brought out, it had to be at least $30,000 or $40,000, and he makes his money from chicken fighting, or from cockfighting, they call it, right? At least $30,000 or $40,000. We were selling wallets at the front desk, and he said, "How much for this wallet?" And I was like, "They're kind of expensive, man. They're like $75." And he was like, "Oh, hold on, let me see." He said, "Un momento," and he pulled out a Ziploc bag. It had to be $50,000, man. I was like, oh my God. Bought $2,000 worth of feed, drove off. Y'all got it messed up, man. You can see from the CDC, CDC be saying that they don't be making as much as we do. All right, cool. I'll let you believe that, my Negroid. I'm gonna show a video to you in 1 second, and oh, Lord have mercy. This is going to be a good show. Bathroom. Let me see if I can find this video. I forgot to bring up this video here. Let's see. Dream. Yo, my R button on the keyboard does not work. R button on the keyboard does not work, and I don't know why. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. If I don't find the video, then oh well, we're just going to have to let it be for now. But anyways, the video was pretty much a Mexican woman. She wanted a dream bathroom, and her husband does construction work. The bathroom that he made is insane. Absolutely insane. You want to talk about value. Let's continue here. Peterson Morley said, you're comparing a whole race to a culture of man, though, because then... Oh, okay. You're comparing a whole race to a culture of a race. Oh, here we go. Here we go with the Dusty. Here we go with the with ancient Egyptian again. All right. Okay, here. I'm going to try it third time, Peterson. Here we go. You're comparing a whole race to a culture of a race of man, though, because then that would negate a group of Afro-Mexicans as black. All right. Well, thank you for the $5 super chat. We'll try and translate that in a bit. Moving on. Let's move on. All right. This is going to get good now. All right. Now, Hispanic men will outshine black men 8 times out of 10. Why? How do I know this? Because they have a far tighter community than black men do. Mexican men believe in protecting and supporting each other, Hispanic communities in general. Moreover, because of the white supremacy, quote unquote, that minorities may experience in America. Now, this causes them to rely more upon each other and the services that they can provide for their community, in essence, as a sort of bartering currency. This is why I don't agree with the numbers on the site. Because there are times in life when personal relationships can turn into financial assets. For instance, if I have no money, however, I know somebody that has a small chicken shop off of Martin Luther King Boulevard, then I have a good chance of eating some fried chicken that night. But if I am broke and I don't know anybody that has a food stand or a small restaurant, then now I'm broke and hungry. All right. Your personal connections, the people that surround you within your immediate community, can be just as valuable as the currency that you don't have. This term is actually called personal currency. Okay. Very important key term to know. Personal currency is what the black community has least of. Okay. Why do they have the least personal currency? Because they have the least actual personal community. All right. We're talking about value here. Now, this is why I titled the video the way I did. In one of the upcoming live streams, we're going to cover the Golden Dusty once again, because they're going to try and say, oh, true, black men be making money too. We'll cover that. All right. Shout out to Coriander Yander on YouTube for coining that term. The high-earning black males who still do absolutely nothing for the community. Shout out to 21 Savage. The word value has multiple definitive meanings. I want to talk about this for 1 second. We've heard the word used 1,000 times within the manosphere. That's a hot term. They can't get it up. Women, what is your value? What do you bring to my table? Do you respect his values? The reality is, if we take a close look at the word value and how it's literally translated on Google, it goes without saying that if we were to apply the term to each group of American men or men in America, black males would still be dead last. All right. Value is actually translated as the regard that something is held to deserve. The regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. Let's break this down. Let's break down the regards part first, okay? How do most cultures, races, groups in America regard black males? If I were to ask you about the importance of black males in America, what would be your first answer? Because the second part of this definition, value, and let me just go to Google so I can show you. All right, because it's going to be kind of tough to follow me unless we're actually looking at the definitive word right here. Let me blow this up a little bit. I don't really need to do this, to be honest, but it's going to help out when we're breaking this down. All right, there's the actual word value right there. The regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, blah, 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 blah. All right. What would be your first answer for black males' importance in America? I can tell you what immediately comes to mind. What immediately comes to my mind is black man's value by and large is sports. Sports. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, sports. Some say sex, sensual relations. All right. I think of sports. Now, if I were to ask you that same question, what value do Hispanic men bring to America? I can almost bet my next YouTube AdSense check that the first thing that you're going to think of is either home building, carpentry, or repairing. I can almost guarantee it. It's just an instinctive thought, right? The most expensive and necessary commodities needed to function and yield an adult livelihood is what they've placed themselves in. Their value is higher. We'll cover this later in the stream. If I ask you what value do Asian males have, your mind's going to automatically go to the medical field or the STEM field. That's the stereotype, right? If I were to ask you what value do white men have, your mind would simply come to the conclusion that white men have dominated America and the world. The white man, white supremacy. That's the value that black males put on white males, even more so than I do. right? We heard it all in the angry black male live calling. Well, white supremacy. So even they acknowledge that white man's value is them being able to conquer and that they have conquered the world. This is very important. The reason why you are listening to me in the first place is because of the infrastructure that white men have created, YouTube. And yes, I know that a black man helped create the internet, and there was a black man at IBM. I understand that. However, it was still created in America. IBM wasn't created in Africa, okay? For my Hotep Jesuses out there. Spare me, please. Let's move on from this, okay? The reality is, we as a nation struggle to pin value on black males in regards to anything other than athletics, all right? And we know that the least educated, least earning, yada, 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 in comparison to every other group of males. And with the extreme amount of difficulty that's needed to actually make a living off of professional sports, we can assume that the reason why most people cannot value, we can assume that just because what am I saying? We can assume that because it's so incredibly difficult to make it to the NFL, the NBA, or whatnot, we can't assign the sports value to an overwhelmingly large portion of American black males. 1 in a million is going to make it to the pros. So even the first preconceived notion of value that you have of black males, whether it be sports or music or whatever it might be, it's such a far-fetched dream that value really isn't able to be pinned on the majority, but rather the severe minority. All right. The second definition of the word value is just as interesting as the first. This is where it gets good. The second definition is value is a person's principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment on what is important in life. If I were to ask you what the white man's principles or standards of behavior is, you would think of the stereotypical, hey, Joe, how's your gosh darn day going? Yes, sir. It's a good day today. We have the sun shining. I'm going for a new personal record on hole number 7 on the course later this week. Hey, tell your wife that Margaret wants to meet up next weekend so they can finish the quilt course together. We've all seen the movie when a new family owners move in, a new family moves into the white community, and the neighbors bring over baked goods such as apple pie with exuberant jubilee as they welcome the new members of the community. Now, yes, I know this doesn't happen a lot anymore. However, this was at one point in time the values that the white community was built on. Okay, talking about value today. It was normal to leave your doors unlocked because at this time, during this time, they made it their jobs to know their neighbors and their neighbors' values. They made it their jobs in the white community to introduce themselves to the neighbors and figure out their values, figure out what was important in their neighbor's life. Talking about value today. This is the reason why when you first meet white people, a lot of times they ask you what you do for a living. They don't really care about what you do for a living. Almost 400 people watching. Incredible. They don't really care what you do by a living. They care about your values in life, because your career path and choice is a direct reflection of the values that your parents or that the community has instilled into you. Okay? The qualities that you have developed in your immediate surrounding community. The job you hold says a lot about you. Are you a felon? Are you collegiately educated? Are you conservative in values, etc., etc.? We laugh about the stereotypical Bob who is overly infatuated with maintaining the 2-inch height rule of his Kentucky bluegrass lawn. Every Saturday and every Wednesday, he's out there trimming and mowing it, right? We joke about that, and it's been made into a mockery. When you buy a used car off of Craigslist or any other various website and you see a white man that hops out with an exuberant attitude and the title in his hand, there's a subtle sigh of relief as he presents the car title to you, because you know that more than likely that car has been well maintained, and in a lot of cases meticulously so, because they value their community and their possessions within the community. The white man values his neighborhood, and that's why he's always taking care of his lawn most of the time in high value or in normal neighborhoods. This is why the average white neighborhood is where most black people seek to move into, because the property value is higher than the black communities. We're talking about value today. I am not letting them make it today. You're going to have to come a little hardy, Dusties. Lester says, hi, I like your content, but extra. Lester, you can watch the God, I don't even know what live stream it is. I think it was the Addressing Kevin Samuels Haters live stream where I addressed all of that. So you can go back and watch that. The white man values his neighborhoods, community, and possessions. This is why sometimes when you move into a white neighborhood, upon opening the mailbox, you find a letter from an organization called the HOA, Homeowners Association, or the homeowners community, a private association-like entity that's either formed ipso jure in a community or a building with multiple owner occupancies or by a real estate developer for the purpose of marketing, managing, and selling homes and lots in a residential subdivision or maintaining the value of those homes in the community. There are very few HOAs in Black communities. I mean, if we're being honest, there's not that many high middle class Black communities in America to begin with. If I'm being honest, I know that there are some. I've heard about the communities that are Black predominantly in New Jersey, in Atlanta. I know there's some great communities in Burbank or Bakehead or wherever it might be. I get it. Okay, I'm not saying they're not. Okay, just saying that this is to Black people that move into predominantly white neighborhoods. This is something that surprises them a lot of the times. This surprised my parents when we moved into a white neighborhood. Had a letter from the homeowners association. They were like, wow, homeowners association. Okay, what is this? This is what they do. They maintain fence color rules, fence height, certain trees you can't have in your front yard. You can't have a certain amount of cars in your driveway because it gives a bad look or it decreases the value of that community. Let's move on. If I were to ask you what an Asian man's principles or standards of behavior is, because we're on the second definition of value, your standard of behavior, your principles, you would immediately be met with the mental image of a quiet Mr. Takagi. Shout out to all my Die Hard fans that went to watch Die Hard on Christmas night in the, I think it was late 80s or early 90s. Mr. Takagi was one of the characters there. You don't know who he is. Die Hard's a great movie. You would think of the CEO or Dr. Scrub type man that has millions in the bank but drives a Toyota. Or perhaps the image of a small Asian man massaging feet and polishing nail tips immediately comes to mind. One image I think we can all agree on is the strict, no-nonsense-minded, community-oriented Asian male that refuses to let his children not go to college. As a matter of fact, Asian parents have been known to be so strict that children have literally taken their own lives due to the pressure of not performing well enough and shaming the value of the family. They care about the public perception to a fault and are willing to forgo one's own conquest of happiness and desires if it means bringing public value or honor to said family. The Asian man values his position in society and values his immediate community, family before anybody else. This is why you have communities in America that 100% Asian. There are entire neighborhoods that are nothing but Asian and Asian households, aka Koreatown, Chinatown. Now, I know what you might be asking. True. Isn't every community predominantly the same race? And to your question, I will answer, yes, it is. However, the reasons as to why the community is predominantly the way it is needs to be addressed. The reasons why the white community is mainly white or fair-skinned is because the second that unwanteds start to move into their communities, they move out and form new communities. When I say unwanteds, I need to clear this up. I'm not saying Black people or any other race or type of people. I'm talking about, when I say unwanted, I'm not talking about respectable, well-to-do Black people. I'm speaking about any other race of people, which is the general consensus that society deems unruly, okay? Nobody wants unruly people moving into the neighborhoods. Take that how you will. I know it's going to offend some of you. The reason why Asian communities can remain Asian is because, well, there aren't that many Asian communities to begin with. Thus, the numbers is pretty much a numbers game, if I'm being honest. The reason why the Black communities are predominantly Black is because of economic infrastructure. But make no mistake about it. When said Black family does start making money, they're going to probably move into a white neighborhood. Let's move on here. 416 people watching. If I were to ask you what the Hispanic man's principles or standard of behavior is, his value, you would most likely immediately scream hard worker, family man. Right? This point doesn't need to be echoed heavily because we've already done this in so many live streams. The Hispanic community is probably the most tight-knit, family-oriented community in America. Hispanics make extremely large sections, and in many southern regions, they can dominate or occupy an entire city. Here in Texas, we have an area called the North Side, and the second you reach North Side city limits, you are in another world, if I'm being honest with you. There are food stands, fiesta marts, meat markets, all kinds of meat markets. Those little triangle multicolored flag things that hang from, side food stands. And it's really a cool place. Loud music playing. I enjoy it over there. I lived in a city in Garland, and I lived with 3 different Hispanic families, men and women and children, all in the same house. They cooked every night, always invited me to dinner with them, and were respectful of me. Yes, they were respectful of me, a Black male. However, like I said, half of my family does speak Spanish, so it's a little different, right? This was around the time I was homeless and working, but struggling to find my footing in the world. I found them on Craigslist. They said they had a room for rent for $250 a month or something like that, and I lived with them for about 4 or 5 months. Drew, I thought you said they don't be like black men. You be lying, though. I just explained. I assimilated partly to their culture, and they were very respectful of me as I was respectful to them. However, they do have certain thoughts about a large percentage of Pookies and Ray Rays. I'll say that. Now, if I were to ask you what the black man's principles and standard of behavior is, what the black man's value is, what does your mind automatically think of? We're talking about value here. For me, I literally couldn't think of anything. I sat and I thought, I said, wait, what is a black man's values? Manny P says NBA. I said, what's important to black men? What's their values? If you're listening on audio, I'm just thinking here. Still, I honestly don't know what the principal standard of behavior is or the values of black men. I don't know that. Nothing immediately pops into my mind. Moreover, if I think of a standard of behavior, I lean towards the more negative side versus the positive side. This is why I'm making this live stream. Black males don't understand what value actually is. It's not necessarily about the money that you make. We're talking about the traits that build your communities, that build the infrastructure. It's not what you have to offer, but it's what you can give. What is your value? What can you contribute to your immediate community or the communities that surround you? There's not a single business or occupation that's run by black males that comes to mind when I think, oh, I need an engine swap, or I need my roof fixed, or I need an exterminator, or I need a root canal, or I need an electrician or journeyman, or I need my TV fixed, or I need a personal loan. There's nothing I think of as far as a business that black males dominate to offer value to the black community. True, you just be hating. True, you just be hating on black males. True, you just be lying on us though. True, cause that's not true. You know the white man took the value away from us back when Put my hair back, man. There's not a single business or institution that black males dominate that I can immediately say, oh, I know my brother's got me here when I need some help. Not a single one comes to mind. You think you need a root canal, you think of Asian and white males. You think you need your car fixed, you think of Mexican and white males. You think you need a root canal, you think you need a TV fixed, you think of Mexican or Hispanic males. You think you need anything that might be done, you think of every other race of male except for black. There's a reason for that. We're talking about value today. 429 people watching. 429 people watching. Let me read my Cash App donation. Huge shout out to whoever donated on Cash App. Shout out to you. And it was, because forgive me, I don't want to. Thank you for Anita for the $5 Cash App donation. Thank you, Anita. Also, for the PayPal donations, thank you once again to Kier for the $50 PayPal donation. Thank you, Kier, for the continued support on PayPal. $50 PayPal donation from Kier. Oh, it gets better, ladies and gentlemen. It gets better. We're talking about value today. Now, I want to explain a story that happened to you, why value is so important and why Negroids got the game effed up. You niggas are going to learn something today. Yes, you are. Or maybe you won't. I don't know. I've somewhat given up, to be honest with you. However, I'm going to make sure that the rest of the world knows about your ignorance as you try and perpetrate and demonize the image of your women. And you call me a coon, niggas. I tell you what, niggas. Woke says I'm scared. Yeah, you shouldn't be scared. They should be scared. Let me tell you about a story. Now, I was homeless. You know about my homeless times, right? I needed a payday loan one time. I was working at the temp agency. Going to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. I needed a payday loan so I could get a little bit of money together so I could fix my car. My car was overheating. I knew that no black males had any mechanic shops that could help me out. Maybe if I was a Mexican or Hispanic male, I'd have been in better shape. Of course I would have. They have more value. Now I needed a payday loan. And out of the 30 or so payday loan facilities I've walked into, I know and I remember only seeing a black male one time, and that was at an auto title payday loan place. And he had a Subaru WRX. It was an STI. It was a very nice car. I saw one black male. The rest were Hispanic, white, Asian, males, and females. All of them. And black females. Now, this event happened in the hood. So I know, and I have a personal story to explain to you. Get a load of this. I'm going to explain why representation is so important in the form of value. All right. Going back to the term that we discussed earlier. Okay. I had a legitimate check that I needed cashed. At the time, my dust was in thermospheric levels. I was in a new sphere. I was in stratospheric levels of dust, meaning I didn't have a bank account. Now, the Hispanic woman called me to her lane, and I just knew it was going to be a problem, if I'm being honest with you. I was like, oh, well, this is going to be a problem. She asked, have you cashed a check with us before? I said, yes, I have, just not at this location, though. I couldn't make it to the other location because my car was overheating, right? Not at this location, I said. She said, okay. She took my check. She scanned the check, typed in a plethora of random obscure notions into the keyboard, and then proceeded to tell me, unfortunately, I can't cash this check for you because you haven't cashed one here before. Sorry. I said, oh, well. Now I was sleeping in my car at the time. I needed that check so I could at least get to a hotel and figure out how I was going to fix my car. And then I was trying to get a payday loan, but really I was going to cash the check as well. I needed that check. I needed to get my favorite meal at Taco Bell, which is was a triple layer nachos and shredded chicken burrito and a large Baja Blast. My anger began to get evident. I started asking questions. How can you not cash my check or look me up in the system when you've seen that I've cashed the same check at other places, right? She said, well, yes, but, right, like all these Negroids say, True, I be agreeing with you, True, but, True, you be saying a lot of good things, but I feel like you be, but, the infamous but. At that moment, I felt nothing but despair, but lo and behold, out of the far right corner of my eye was a beautiful black woman who was the manager. We're talking about value here. Now, here's where we get into education. You uneducated Negroids. That's right. Black women not educate you. She was the black woman and she was the manager. She walked over. Now hear me. This is why I say that value isn't necessarily about the amount of money that you earn. The fact that a black woman was in that position of management at the time that I walked into that cash checking store lends itself more valuable to myself and the community than the multi-million-dollar rapper or athlete that adds nothing to the community. We'll talk about golden dusties in a future stream. Let me continue this story. This is why we talked about personal currency and how sometimes seeing somebody and knowing somebody that looks like you can do more than money ever could. Personal currency. I had personal currency with this black woman in the store. Fortunately, she wasn't one of the women that chose to divest away from black males. And if she did, I couldn't blame her. The same black males will make fun of her for having a degree and being in the managerial position at the check cashing store. Niggas. Now, let me continue with the story. Personal currency can take you places that money can't, because even though I had the money in my hand, I still needed personal currency. And for her to recognize that check in my personal currency in order to get money back. It's not about the money that you have. That's not what value is. Some of y'all are going to miss this. Some of y'all aren't going to understand what I'm saying here. In this case, her empathizing with me since I was a black male who more than likely she's seen her fair share of in that check cashing store. I had high personal currency with her because we shared the same skin tone and culture, okay? Personal currency can take you places that money can't. Without me having personal currency and personal connection with that black woman, I would have been shit out of luck. This is where value comes in. We'll talk about education in a second. Stick with me. Stick with me here. She walked over. She typed in something on the keyboard. She pointed to something and she said, "It's not a problem. We'll be able to take care of your check today. Thank you, sir." She handed me my 400 or 560 something my dollars, and I walked out of there. Shout out to her. This is why I go so hard on you ignorant ass niggas, man. For being the least educated, and then on top of that, for being the most heartless, unconscionable, unrelenting, relentless dogs for women who choose to get educated and help your broke asses, uneducated asses out. This is why I go so hard on you niggas. You cannot afford to be the least educated whilst offering no service or value to your communities. There's nothing to be proud of being a middle earner compared to white men. You don't own 96% of the businesses like white men do. You're comparing apples to dragon fruit. Well, Kevin said that we be earning almost the same as the white man does. You cannot afford to continue to earn average whilst offering no services or business to add to your community. This is why black males have no value. This is why you can't think of something that black males inherently do better than every other race other than sports. A mythological, very rare occurrence that the kid will be able to make it to supply economic sustainability for generations to come. That's just not feasible for most meaning 99.9% of black males. This is why you don't think of anything else that they have value with, because even the most rare occurrence is where they choose to place their value on. Every nigga wants to rap. Not every nigga's gonna be able to make it to the pros or rap. But what do you see niggas doing? Shit, man, I got this mixtape. They place value on the impossible. But that's not what we saying, though, we don't care. We not saying we don't care about our black women's education. We just don't care about her education when we be dating the women's. Something Kevin Scamans always says. Men don't care about your education. This is why niggas are always going to lose, man. This is why niggas are always going to lose. This is a disingenuous comment. Here's why. You can't get upset at women for being proud of the education and wanting her man to be educated as well, niggas. The hypocrisy of men like Kevin Scamans. Listen to this. Women, you need to date down. Literally acknowledging, this is what Kevin says, the fact that since black males don't take education seriously, you as a black woman are going to have no choice but to date down in most cases. And then when you as a black woman finally date down, Dorian with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. $50 super chat from Ways Principle says, what you were saying is absolutely true. This is why we must build in 4 areas. They include real estate, stocks, cryptocurrency, and entrepreneurship. Thank you for the $50 super chat from Wave Principles. I'm going hard on these niggas today, man. I just gotta. Why do you want such a high value man? Let me give you a side story as well. I was on the Divested Zealot channel, and apparently the average at best girl had to get police involved because Negroids were showing up to her business and harassing her, sending her death threats, leaving her voicemails at her pet grooming business, and harassing her. These are the men that Kevin Scamans leads. These are the men that want you to submit to them. They're threatening this lady now. So now she has to get private investigators and police involved because she decided to call into Kevin Scamans' channel. Let me continue with my point here. The hypocrisy. When the women finally do acknowledge that, you know what, maybe I just need to go ahead and date down and I just need to go for the average guy. And they have kids with sub Pookie or sub Ray Ray Dust. Then you ask them why they didn't choose better men. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, ladies and gentlemen. You are damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Now, hold on a second. I'm going to take it a step further. Black women are more educated than black men. We know that. Yet another aspect of our women trying to add value to the same group of degenerate Negroids that preach that they don't care about their women being educated or adding value to the community. Is there any coincidence that the most uneducated group of men in America don't care about women's education? Of course not. But yet black women still strive and secure degrees at a higher rate that shames black males. So yet again, It's the white supremacy again, right? Yet again, well, you just going to school and fulfilling the white man's jobs. Black women still go to school, out-educate black males, and it shames them. So yet again, instead of black male degenerate-minded negroids accepting the fact that they are yet again dead last, what do? That's right. They do what negroids do best. They tear down and destroy the community's best and brightest on a platform for millions to see. This is why niggas have taken white supremacy farther than the white man ever could. To shame anybody. Now, hold on a second. Let me say this first. They shame you just like they shame the white man for doing exactly what you should be doing to progress your community in the first place. They shame you for conquering them. The conquered black male. See, it's the white man, though. You see, we don't care about your education, though. They always go to shame what they're not able to perform at the same level of. That's what black males do. They don't try to do better. They have to shame you. No black male has the ability to speak about education, to shame anybody for education. Nobody should be shaming anybody for education. But of course, we see this the most out of black males. Duh, right? The most uneducated group of people. They don't have the certifications nor the proof to even input with their uneducated mouths on a woman's education and what that should mean to the community. This is the same reason why negroids are and will always forever be victims of every other race of supremacy, including their own women now, apparently. They ensure that their communities will continue to be afflicted by their ignorance. Even through murder, jail, lack of education, the black male has centered his energy around continuing to fail and making sure that he brings down many of his own with him. Talking about you don't care about your women being educated. But then come onto my panel complaining about white supremacy. Complaining that they don't have the resources needed to build their communities. When we can see from thousands of studies that the most educated people make the most money, but you don't care about black women out educating you. How does that make sense? You complain about not having the resources, but in the same breath complain about your women going to school to get the resources that you complain that you don't have to begin with? But you, we be owning businesses though, and so we don't need to be going to school though. Right. So that makes it okay to make fun of black women's education. Okay. Let's just assume that you all have businesses. You're all entrepreneurs, right? You're all making six figures, owning your own business. But it's okay to denigrate black women like the average at best girl for having her own business now? Even if that was the case, where does that make sense? That's not what we said. We just said that she needs to be more realistic. The solution to your own affliction is education, and yet you claim that you don't care about the counterparts that out-educate you. 444 people watching right now. 444 people watching right now. We're halfway to 1,000. I can't wait until the day that we actually do get to 1,000. I think by the end of the year, we'll be at probably 25. Well, I'd say probably about 20,000, maybe about 15 to 20,000 subs, which is absolutely amazing in my opinion. I can't thank you all enough for joining us for this Truth Seekers Live program and podcast. Wherever you are, if you're driving home, give it a couple of honks. Maybe out of the 400 and something odd people watching us, there's somebody else driving beside you. Just make sure they're not a negroid, because if they realize that you're listening to something that actually puts their bullshit on Front Street, then they might try and be the majority or the nearly majority of the violent group of men who are currently incarcerated in the white man system. White man be after trying to get us. Five jumping jacks if you're at work right now. Let's get the blood flowing. I'm doing 5 with you. 2, 3, 4, 5. I am sweating. I have a cup of coffee here, and I am going on, ladies and gentlemen. Huge shout out to everybody that's donated to the channel. Hit that like button. Poetic Expression says, there was another super chat. I missed it, a $20 super chat. from Level Up Channel. She says, absolutely correct. Thank you for your support, Level Up Channel. Thank you for everything that you've done. We're going to read some comments here in a bit, and I'm continuing. $20 super sticker from Nikki. $20 super sticker. Thank you, Nikki, for your devotion and contribution to the channel. Devotion is a bit of a heavy word. Yami C says, I'm late. Dang it. Don't worry, Yami. You have an hour to rewind after we get done with this and to really enjoy everything that was said here. I'm going to continue on for a bit longer because I know a lot of you really do enjoy listening to me just rant and rave, and I appreciate that. I try and make sure that it is as spot on and accurate, as possible. I cannot make any mods right now. To be a mod, it's going to take a good amount of time and recognition. I don't charge people to become a mod, but I have to be very, very, very careful with who I do mod. Honey Bunny says, THT, you look good in that denim jacket. This is my favorite denim jacket. I got an email the other day says y'all stay roasting me. I think it was a dude I couldn't tell from the username. It was a bit what's the word for when you're not a guy or a girl? What was Prince? What was that word? Prince was it a guy or a girl, right? He was androgynous, I think was the word. It said, why are you always wearing the same shirt? I just got an email that said, why are you always wearing the same shirt? I stay getting roasted. The other day, I was making fun of my edges. My edges are doing better thanks to Instagram.com/MysticTone. Make sure you head over to Instagram.com/MysticTone for all natural bath and shower accessories and essential oils. Instagram.com/MysticTone, as well as unique boutique candles. Listen, I shop for quality and I love quality. I don't mind spending a couple dollars extra if it's quality. Unique boutique candles and Mystic Tone, website coming soon from Mystic Tone, is quality products by the best and the brightest of us. Make sure you support and get great quality products for you. I stay getting roasted. I remember I was talking about my edges. Somebody emailed me, said, they left a comment. They were like, nigga, your edges aren't messed up. You just going bald. You too old for dreadlocks. It was hilarious. The jacket was $5 actually at Ross. And it's ripped. It has like holes in it. I've had this jacket for years and I love it. Years I've had this jacket. I love it. If I lost this jacket, and I thought I did lose this jacket at one point, I freaked out. I said, where's my jacket? I said, man, I lost my jacket. I love this jacket. I don't shop for clothes. I don't buy clothes. I haven't bought a shirt in probably 6 or 7 months. I just don't shop that often. I have 2 pairs of shoes. No, I have 3. I have a pair of boots that my dear mother bought for me for Christmas. So shout out to my mom. And please, respectful comments, please. I understand that we have a very big thing going on with mammy culture, and I don't touch too far into that. It was a Christmas gift from my mother, and I got her something as well, and I continue to get her something. Okay, but I have a pair of Skechers and a pair of Levi's that are probably about 2 or 3 years old. I just don't shop into fashion. That's just not my thing, right? If I have a couple of nice things, I rock them until I can't rock them anymore. Case in point, right? A $10 super chat from IK says, most black men do not have the capacity to make it make sense. It's sad. Absolutely not. Irregardless, I'm going to say irregardless. Somebody was like, irregardless isn't a word. Well, I Googled it. It said that it's not technically a word, but you can use it as a word. Okay. Irregardless or regardless of what I say on this stream, Negroids are sitting back, contemplating how they can figure out a way to rebut everything I just said. There go truth again, pandering for the white man, pandering for the black women, pandering. Every other race of people sees this, just like we saw East Coast Granny come in and saying, I love your unbiased perspective. And they like it because if they say it, then you're going to call them racist. If they say it, you're going to say, oh, that's white supremacy. Be gone, white devil, be gone. You're going to start calling them racist and white devils. Meanwhile, failing to hold accountable the black brethren who continue to purport the same prototypical, stereotypical ideologies that other races already think of you, instead of trying to actually be better and shape your community of black male degenerates into a better public perception or image. You're just going to complain that, oh, everybody else is crazy, but we're the sane ones. So they can't say anything. Other races are like, damn, we can't call out the BS. If we call it the BS, now we're racist, and you're going to start protesting. Stop marching. Thank you for the Cash App donation. Stop marching for these Negroids in the streets. Stop marching for the millions of people that support Kevin Samuels. Stop marching for Black Lives Matter. That shit is, I almost said the R word that you can't say on YouTube. That is ridiculous. Stop it. Black Lives Matter to everybody else but black males. If Black Lives Matter to black males, they wouldn't be the most uneducated. They wouldn't be the lowest earning. They wouldn't be the most violent. They wouldn't have the worst off communities. Black Lives Matter to everybody. But the black lives that you're protesting for, stop it. I understand if your heart's in a good place, I get it. But you also have to realize that those black males that you're marching in the street for are watching Kevin Samuels night after night after night, getting off on your public perception as a woman being destroyed. Stop it. Somebody said, dude, open up the panel. MJ, I open up the panel when I'm ready, dear, okay? The panel's always open. You don't have to remind me to open up the panel. I'll open it in a bit. Oh, there go True. He cooning saying black lives don't matter. Can you believe that? Damn, True. You don't think black lives matter now? Well, what about the thank you for that Cash App donation. Listen, we're gonna go ahead and go to our comments of the day here. I didn't email my response to the comment of the day, and I typed it on my voice chat, or I said it on my voice chat. Thank you for the Cash App donation, the $50 Cash App donation for Jaleesa from Jaleesa. Thank you so much, Jaleesa. It's good to see you in here, my dear. I love you. Jaleesa is not a significant other of mine. Okay, she is, and I can't even say too much more past that. We've known each other for years and years and years and years and years and years and years now. I'm gonna go to the comment of the day, and I'm gonna address some of these mindsets. All right, some of these mindsets. Got a great, interesting comment. He wanted me to address this. You don't be really reading off the comments that are really difficult. All right. Let's go to the comment of the day, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good one. It's a good one. I thought it was fair, and I'm going to do my best to explain it, okay? Where's my screenshot here? Is this the first? All right. He says, my initial thoughts on Truth is he's a good dude, smart, quick, funny, obviously at a better status in life that I can relate. But, here comes the but, right? But, you know what, Truth? You're right. I agree with everything, but answer me this, though. Answer me this, though. All right, here we go. I would ask him this. Being that he runs atypical to many black men, looking at the comments from these women and reviewing his own past, were these women around as girlfriends when he was younger? My experiences tell me that despite the obvious grievances, this is still the comment of the day, by the way, many black women have with black men, black women, even educated ones, are and still continuing to pair with the brutes and harem, making F-boys on a sexual basis. Or have I observed these women, or I have observed these women divest and pair with middle class and average men of no color. In other words, out of minority of black men that are productive, smart, decent, righteous, on the way up, non-dusty, why is it that being translated into sexual access and relationships with productive, decent, righteous, smart black women, why is that not being translated, I can't read, Jesus, into sexual access, blah, blah, blah. There seems to be a disconnect between these two groups. There appears to be an incongruence between the men they are attracted to and the men that they, let me see, I think it continues. And the men that they are aroused by in person. I would like Truth to refute my little anecdotal observation. I said this. This isn't going to be grammatically correct. I'm warning you. It's going to be tough. I'm going to have to figure out what the heck I said because my voice my voice mic's not that activated. I said, okay, first things first. All races of women like the stereotypical, prototypical bad boy. It's not just black women. Okay? White women like bad boys. Asian women like bad boys, less than white women and black women do. But I'm going to explain to you why exactly. Hispanic women like bad boys, okay? All women do like bad boys. Make no mistake about it, okay? However, I'm going to focus my answer directly to your specifications within the black community. Now, the reason that the dope boys were so popular back then was because they showed what a lot of black men didn't have the ability to show back then, which was economic sustainability or money. Okay? It's the reason why the bad boy was so popular, particularly in the black community, in the community that had the least amount of economic sustainability or money. Get this. I need you to understand this. All women think this way, okay? Women, a lot of times, women don't care how you get the money. Just get the money. Now, yes, obviously, if you're putting their lives on the line, then That's probably not the best idea to get money if you're looking for safety and security for your woman. I'm not advising anybody to be a dope boy. However, I'm recognizing and acknowledging that women respect men who do get money, particularly in the community that has the least amount of money. Okay? Let me continue here. If we were to fast forward to today, looking at the fact that black men are, by and large, the least earning men in America, as well as the least educated, it could be assumed that black men are too directly responsible for the influx or the desirability of the dope boy. What do I mean? When black men are upset at me for pointing out the fact that black men need to take education more seriously, it only goes further to enslave them. What did I write here? It only goes further to enslave them. What do I mean by this? You claiming that you're afflicted by the dope boy, or that you're afflicted with black women choosing bad men, only furthers hurt you or chastises you when you get upset at me for saying the things that I do. I'm telling black men as a whole to become more educated. The reason why the dope boy is so popular is because in the black male communities, there aren't that many high-earning men who are educated with decent jobs and white-collar jobs. This is why they're the least educated. If more black males were educated and could actually walk in high value per se, then the entire consensus of what is a desirable black male would be directly reflected from the majority of where black males stand, not the severe majority of where most black males are right now. So if most black males took education more seriously, then more black women would have the ability to choose more educated black males. But since black males are the least educated, meaning the least earning, because education is directly correlated to earnings, monetary gain, since black males own the least amount of businesses, there's a limited amount of economic resources that they as black women can choose from within the black community. This is why divestment exists. Now, black women outpopulate black males by 2.5 million, roughly around there. Uppity Unicorn said it in a live stream today. Roughly 2.5 million. So literally, there's a literal need for divestment, because even if every single black male today was collegiately educated and doing great, which is impossible to happen because nearly 40% of them are locked up in prison right now. Even if everyone was doing great, 2.5 million black women still wouldn't have the ability to pair and get married with a black male. Divestment is needed. It's not just hatred against black males, okay? If you don't want to get married as a woman, I understand that. I'm not trying to bring in specific gender roles. However, you can't act as if there's just an influx of collegiately educated black males to choose from. Moreover, the culture that black males started was rap and degeneracy to begin with. So the very essence of why black males feel demonized or chastised by black women going after a certain thuggish, ruggish type of male was created by black males. It was the white male that tried to kick NWA off the stage and say, no, we don't want violent music being played to the communities. We don't want that. But you, the white man, was the one that was beating us. Okay, all right, slaves. I know we were slaves. Jesus Christ, we were slaves. It's 2021 now. So you can't get upset at women for going after the culture that black men created. You need to be holding the black males accountable for that, not the women. The women are a reflection of who you are. However, in 2021, the women are starting to wake up and say, you know what? We're tired of being at the very bottom of the totem pole with the very bottom of the totem pole type males. We want better for ourselves. That's why they now educate black males. Okay. So the culture that you're so afflicted by right now, and to give my personal experience, I've had plenty of girls that were black. My girlfriend who I fell in love with was black. I dated her for 5 years. I got with her in high school. Granted, I'm a decent looking guy and I was an athlete, so I had a pretty decent body at the time. That helps, right? But I talk the exact way I do now, right? I'm the exact same person that I was for the most part, right? She was beautiful. She was awesome. I had no problem with any type of women, but especially black women. I had no problem with black women. My girlfriend told me at the time that the thing that she liked most about me was that she reminded me of what she didn't, or that I didn't remind her of what she grew up with. That's why she liked me. She grew up in the hood. I said, and we had this conversation when we were kind of like broken up on rough terms. I said, what did you even like about me? Right? You know, you get into these conversations with just a significant other and you're like, well, damn, why did you start dating me in the first place? And she said, because you didn't remind me of the boys that I grew up with. That's what she told me. So there's this public perception that, oh, if you're high earning, you know, what they call the educated lame or whatever it might be, black women aren't going to like you. That's not the case at all. If you don't remind them of the type of Negroids that they grew up with, there's a good chance that they probably are going to end up seeking you out because you can take them out of the Blackistan hellish environment that they grew up in, just like my girlfriend or my ex-girlfriend thought of me, right? However, I think that a lot of times we hear stories of guys, of the nerds, of the lames, and this happens in every culture. It's not just black nerds that can't get the women. We've seen the white nerds in plenty of movies that can't get the women, and that the white girls hop in the bad boy's car, hop in Chad's car, and then take off to the prom, and then little Tommy, the white nerd wearing glasses, is left crying, right? Then he goes on to become Bill Gates, and he's laughing at the rest of the world, right? This was the story in one of the Avengers movies, one of the Iron Man movies. So it's not just black culture, but once again, you can't look past black culture because it's still a victimization of yourself. There are women out there that want you, bro. But even so, even if you can't get a single black woman, that's not the black women's fault. That's the men's fault for making the community and the culture what it is now. Women are mirrors. You give them your seed, they give you a child. You give them a house, they give you a home. They take what you give them and they reflect or make better on that, right? You give them ingredients, they make a meal. I'm not trying to say women are only for cooks and whatever it might be. Women are so much more than that. Women are absolutely amazing. However, in order for them to walk in their true femininity and their true purpose, you have to build and give something to them to give back to you. You can't give them shit and expect a 5-course meal. It doesn't work like that. Right? There are women out there that like you and that like educated men and that they look for educated men. Make no mistake about it. Show promise. If you show promise as an educated black male, you have no problem getting a black woman. You are extremely desired because most of the black male, most of your black male brethren in a competition is not educated. 520 people watching right now. Thank you for that super chat. Whoever just sent that super, I'm sorry for the Cash App donation. Whoever just sent that Cash App donation. If you want to donate, it's paypal.me/thehonest truth. I'll get the links really quickly. 520 people watching. I believe this is a record, ladies and gentlemen. 520 people watching. We are cooking today. We are cooking today. I can't thank you enough for joining us. It's truly been a great live stream. If you're just now joining, you missed out on a good portion of the content tonight. However, we're going to be opening up the panels to hear one-on-one from each of you and have your inputs on how you feel about the message today. If you are a black male who's full of hatred, full of rage, full of envy and destruction, you will be severely limited in what you can say. I can immediately tell what position you're coming from, whether it be sarcasm, whether it be a sinister position, a cynical position, because I can tell and I can feel your energy. Pause a moment there. I understand what you mean, my niggas. 533 people watching right now. Let's go ahead and open up the panel. Rachel says, let's get ready to rumble. Let's open up the panel. If you feel like everything I said here, once again, is just complete nonsense, as we open up the panel, we're going to have another comment of the day, and we'll wait for our panel members to join. Here's the link to join the panel in the live chat. I'll pin it to the live chat while we look at our next comment of the day. There go Truth again, just be pandering for the white man. He be always be telling lies about us, the black man. He don't be being honest about it though. He know that that we really the kings though, and for the most part, like I don't even think that what he's saying be true. This comment of the day says, the focus is us. God forbid I put the focus on black men. But these are issues in every community. I know from experience, but I definitely think they hide it better. I've been all over the planet, federal. I'm assuming that he works for the federal government. He said, I've been all over the planet, federal. So you know this is the truth. All right. Well, thank you, Ogufere. I guess since Ogufere said it, that's just it. All right. He's upset that the focus is on black males. Of course, you're upset that the focus is on black males. But black males are the ones that are least earning, the least educated, the least everything. But of course, I shouldn't put the focus on you. Let me put the focus on the more educated race of men. Let me put the focus on the men that actually have better built communities, who have more personal currency. The men who are more community minded. Let me put the focus on them and not on you, black man. We have a lot of panel members that are ready to conversate with us today. I'm going to put everybody's mic on mute for the time being, since we don't get any feedback, and then we will continue our discussion one-on-one. I'm not sure the order it came in. However, we're going to go ahead and start with the ladies, and then we will transition into the fellas. So we're going to start with Mocha Mommy. Mocha Mommy, a channel content creator and channel member for a long time now. Mocha Mommy, the floor is yours, my dear. Make sure you subscribe to Mocha Mommy's channel. Absolutely fantastic. I've been watching it a lot, and I appreciate you swinging by, Mocha Mommy.
Hi there. Thank you.
Awesome. Hi, Mocha. How's your night going?
Good. I'm really glad that you had said what you said about like nerds and black women really desiring to have educated black men. And it just makes me think of my dad. Like, I know that when my older sister and I were kind of going off to college, he like purposefully sent us to the schools that we went to. Like, my older sister went to Hampton and I went to Howard because they wanted us to find educated black men. Like,
wow.
I could have got a nursing degree from anywhere. If you think about it, I could have gone to community college. Why would I go all the way from New York to Washington, D.C. to go to a private out of state school if he didn't want me around those type of men in my young adult years? And the same thing with my older sister. Why would he do that? Right? Because he wanted us to be around educated black men. Right. So there are black women who do this all the time. Black women who go off to college and who pick certain careers and who join certain social organizations, who pledge certain sororities in order to meet educated black men. And educated black men have some of the best ratios of any other race of man. I mean, I remember back in the 90s, I think we were outnumbering our black male counterparts like 9-1 back in the 90s. So they had a better ratio than any other race of man. So, I mean, this whole narrative about how all we do was want thugs, like, that's so far from the truth. And I'm really glad that you brought that up. And, you know, some of us didn't even grow up around thugs, or some of us had really traumatic experiences around thugs. So that's definitely not it. But you'll be surprised who they'll label a thug all of a sudden because they don't want to be associated with them. Like, for instance, I went to Howard when Diddy was there. Wow. So he was in the School of Business with like a 3.8 GPA. He came out of private school. He was no quote unquote thug. He had a thug image. If you think about it, like the dude from, what's that group, Migos, whatever. That dude, his mother was a Delta Sigma Theta and his dad was a business owner. So he was not a thug. He just portrays one on TV. So wow. I'm just letting you ladies know, like, this whole thug narrative is just so ridiculous and it's crazy. And I'm really glad that you brought it up. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, not a problem, Mocha Mommy. Thank you. And once again, the link to Mocha Mommy's YouTube channel is going to be posted in the chat again. That is the link to her channel. Make sure you subscribe. Very interesting content. And she has a panel, live stream that she did the other day. I think it was called Survivors of Blackistan, I want to say was the name of it, Mocha Mommy. I can't remember. Survivors of something, right?
Yeah, it was a survivals panel just talking about women who've had really difficult childhoods, because they always are like, choose better. But when you grow up in these certain situations, how do you choose better when this is what you know? So it was just really about women who've come out on the other side of really difficult situations.
It was absolutely amazing. And so kudos to you. Make sure y'all check that. It's called the Survivors panel on the Mocha Mommy channel. It was, I've never heard anything like that, to be honest with you. We're going to move on. Thank you so much, Mocha Mommy. Miss Sincere, and we'll try and keep it short, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of people on the panel right now. Miss Sincere, the floor is yours, my dear. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to say one thing really quickly, especially when it comes to educated Black males. There's this one guy, his name is Sergeant Willie Pete, and he's been on YouTube since I was like 12, 13 years old. So it's been about a good 15, 16, 17 years. Yeah. And apparently, from what I understood, he went to school to be a doctor. So he's also one of the quote unquote educated males. And I just wanted to say, be very careful, because he is the original Manosphere MGTOW incel who's been raging on the internet for about 16, 17 years straight.
Okay,
And
well, we're not gonna
yeah.
talk too much about him right now, but thank you for the awareness. Okay, Miss Sincere, I appreciate you. We'll keep that in mind going forward. Let's go ahead and move on really quickly. We're gonna go ahead and go to Miss Know It All. Miss Know It All, the floor is yours, Miss Know It All. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, all.
Hi.
Thank you for having me on. And I just wanted to say to you, I appreciate and love your content. Keep it up; it's needed.
Thank you.
And two, I actually grew up in an urban environment, which per se the hood, and I grew up with them, lived next door to them, related to them, and in no way, shape, or form I was ever into them. I will say that I did date them by default, like what you mentioned earlier. The options there weren't the options. The percentage of educated, um, well mannered, growing up, um, business minded, educated minded black males compared to the ones that are predominantly in an urban environment is, I mean, is uncomparable. So I did date some guys that kind of dabbled into that lifestyle. Maybe, you know, may not have been legal, but I was very young. But I immediately saw that there was it was a bad road to go down. I've had girlfriends and friends who actually, by association, just being in the car or being in their presence, who were um actually lost their life, because
Yeah,
they were
and I agree with you, Miss Know It All. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move on here. But listen,
okay.
I'm glad you brought that up, Miss Know It All, and it's so
Yes.
important because a lot of times, young girls or women just don't understand the inherent dangers that can actually come with with the majority in a
Association.
lot of cases of men that are in their community. Right? It's
Yeah,
just
the
it's something
association,
that you
yes.
don't have the knowledge of when you're coming up until it's too late.
Mhm.
And so I appreciate that, Miss Know It All. Thank you so much. We're going to try and keep it 30 seconds or shorter, ladies and gentlemen. I understand sometimes it could be a little bit of a pressure situation and it's a little tougher talking live. Talking live is not easy, but I appreciate y'all and your understanding. And I don't mean to be rude. DA, please keep yourself on mute, please, bro, until we come to you. I don't mean to be rude, but we just have to kind of keep it going here. And we'll come back to you if you hang on the panel long enough, okay? Lisa Marie Thomas. And then after Lisa Marie, we're going to go ahead and go with Jedi Mike, then the CBP channel. Actually, we're going to go with the CBP channel first. Then we'll go to you, Jedi. And then the other two gentlemen, I haven't seen your name before. And we'll end up going to you. DA, I'm going to take you down for now. It looks like you don't understand English. You're going to have to keep your mic on mute, but I'll take you down until your time comes. Lisa Marie, the floor is yours, my dear.
I'm just going to say, like I said, I always lose my thought when being interrupted, but I'll keep it short. I noticed that, a lot of times I've met good black men, and, Jeremiah is an example, you're an example, and my brothers are an example, and, other people that's not related to me who can keep a conversation, good black men, but they are slowly, Taz is another good example, he's on the panel, but I feel bad for the minority of good black men out there because they have these men, majority of the men, putting bad reputation on them and they're blaming women. And they're going to other people to feed their egos on YouTube, get solutions from YouTube because their daddy felt them to teach them how real men act. And they contradict every situation and everything they say to boost their narratives and boost their egos. And it's sad that, men like the three gentlemen on the screen, Taz, Jedi, and Truth, and etc. that I've met, have to deal with this. And black women, like I said, don't put all black men in a box. If you met a good black man, please try him out. Don't let the dusties and etc. men who claim they're educated lanes and etc. when they're not, they're just sore and bitter rejects. Put bad repetition on all black men if you want to, keep in your community. And if you want to date out, there's nothing wrong with that, but just have an open mind. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, not a problem, Lisa. I think that's a great point. It's unfortunate that for the most part, what we preach here is going to have to go against men like myself, Jedi, and whoever else that you mentioned. But even in that, as long as our women have the best outcome, that's the only thing that I'm concerned about, whether that be to my detriment or not. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. So a great point there, though. I think that this is very fair and balanced and a great mindset to have going forward because it's all about balance. I love that. Alexander Brandon says, Truth, I'll be on later. Okay, make sure you come back later, Alexander. Not a problem. The CBP channel has come back to CBP channel. It's good to see you here again, my friend. Always glad, and it's always an honor to have you on the panel, CBP.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I apologize if my microphone's a bit off. I'm just in the car right now. I'm just about to head off on a walk. I'll be super quick.
No, you're fine, man.
You know, a few weeks ago, I did the rounds. I went on Cynthia G's channel, your channel, and a few others, and all of the males in the Black Manosphere spurred out and, oh my God, he's a racist, and all of this crap, right? Even though, like I said previously, haven't made a single racist point in the entire time I've been on YouTube. But I thought it was so funny. These are guys like Donovan Sharp, who's been banned off of YouTube multiple times for hate speech. It's the ultimate of what I call the cry bully mentality. They're crybabies and bullies simultaneously, that fusion mixed together. And it's so funny because if I had gone on their programs and did an interview where I talked about the problem with Black women, hypothetically, I did this whole spiel against, quote, Black women, they would have been in my comment section begging for an interview, buck dancing for an interview. Like, oh, even this white boy from Australia can understand why we are so tired of Black women. Even he gets it. They love to dish it out. But as soon as you give just a... And I didn't even say anything bad about Black men. I didn't say anything about Black men conceptually. I just criticized the Black Manosphere for their slave mentality. That's all I said. And I'm sure they're still crying about it, and it's just very ironic to me. And I just wanted to point that out. The ultimate in cry bullies. And that's pretty much the only point I wanted to make. I'm about to head off on my walk. And yeah, I've been watching your channel. It's great to see you get plenty of views coming in and growing steadily. I kind of knew you would, to tell you the truth. And I love the new studio. And yeah, man, I will be back on again when we have more time to talk.
Awesome, CBP. It's always an honor and such great perspectives. CBP channel is on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. I'll make sure to drop his links in the chat. His content is very well thought out, as you can tell, and entertaining, but there's wisdom behind it as well. CBP also has a very interesting history and background, just like I do, and I'm not going to give too much of it away, but check his channel out if you'd like to see some really enlightening and just enriching content. The guy knows his stuff, obviously, right? So CBP, thanks again for the time, my friend, and we'll see you soon. Enjoy that walk, Evan. CBP channel, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, go ahead, CBP. I'm sorry. Oh, he took himself out. I hate that when I take somebody down and then they unmute themselves and they say something, but I think he was just trying to say goodbye. Always good to have CBP on the live stream here. Jedi Mike, so good to see you again, Jedi Mike. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, how you doing, man? Good to see you, man. Sorry I missed the last live stream, man. I've just been working a lot. But one thing I think the topic was talking about, saying you had no about saying well, Black men don't have any value. And see, the title of it is, it's almost this, I don't say for shock value, but it's trying to get straight to the point. The fact of what it is the fact that when you have greatest potential, but you use nothing, you truly have no value, because you have you basically wasted so much of it, right? And it kind of talking about what you see consistently over time. And you talk about education. I made a video about Black men need to be educators, but the one thing we don't really see men seeing the value of education. More importantly, now I'm not saying just being a teacher, but just thinking of seeking wisdom, seeking to be better. That's what the thing that we always consistently try to be. But
and here's the thing, Jedi. Here's the thing. They don't just not. They just. It's not even about seeing the value in education, but Kevin Samuels and the idiots over there. It's wild. Here's the wild part. You have the most uneducated group of people publicly shaming every other group of people who out-educate them for having education. It's so mind-numbingly ridiculous that even if you wrote a story or wrote this into a movie, it would just be, the idea of it's completely absurd. Now, if you out-educated them, then maybe you could say something about education. But for you to have the least education and then to publicly humiliate women for having a higher education levels or higher rates of education than you, it's no wonder why the Black community is, by the leadership of Black men, in shambles in most parts of the Black community.
And not only that is the fact that if you said that you want to have children, then not knowing that having an educated woman means that she can possibly pass that education to them. Not so, but it's like two is better than one, they said, obviously,
right.
but anyway, but that's the whole thing. It's hypocritical and also disingenuous, saying about this is like saying we don't value education, but basically you're saying that the reason why they don't value the education of women because they fear it is the fact that the thing of that, well, if she has her education, then that means that she has a little bit more leg to stand on if she doesn't have me. But not knowing the fact of as an individual, you need to know making sure that you're a full rounded human being, regardless of men and women. And the problem is that us men, especially as black men, we don't have the luxury that other people have where we can just cry like babies on supremacy when we lack of our responsibility and accountability. I put in the comment section that we were the spark of terms of this mindset and general culture. The fact that, the times where we were, say, functional, and it's in the beginning, like many, many years ago, but the fact that we just come complacent and say, you know what? It's either blame supremacy than say my lack of my responsibility as a man. That's easy. So now I'm going to use that and then pass that on, for generations to come. Absolutely. And then instead of saying, we start, we were the spark of this flame. Now it's time to put it out, But that's listen, the whole.
Go ahead, Jedi. I'll let you finish up really quickly. I want to say something.
No, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off, man. It's your platform.
And you're fine, man. And that's the bigger thing there. That's the bigger thing. That's the biggest reason that I have an issue with so many Negroids coming to this channel just to hate for no reason. They act as if what I'm saying here is somehow bad advice, right? They act as if what I'm saying here is somehow going to lead them into the next 5 generations of failures. When they talk about the good old days, in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s, then the black women worshiped black men and they were more submissive and things of that nature. When you look at those pictures of the black men back then, they were all wearing suits. They were all clean cut. They were all whatever. And now I'm not saying that you had to wear the master suits or whatnot, but I'm saying that is there any coincidence that the time that you always referenced when women were more submissive to black males is a direct relation to what white collar jobs fixate their actual public image on? See, this is why you can't win with Negroids' mindsets. You talk about a time period when that you wish that you could get back to, essentially oppression of women, right? The time when women didn't have the right to vote or they didn't have any political voice, whatever it might be, pre-women's suffrage. But in the same notion, you fail to even really break down or acknowledge what made those men dynamically different from the type of men that you are today. The men in the 50s were still obviously extremely abusive in a lot of situations. And I've read some of your comments of your grandmothers facing abuse by the hands of their black husbands, whatever it might be, and then not having the outcry or the ability to reach out to police in certain areas because obviously it was the 50s, right? You couldn't just, right? But in most cases, when you look at the type of man that the man, the black male in his 50s represented compared to now, it's a far cry. Right? They're always talking about, Black Wall Street, black this, and black that. The women were submissive. Well, the men were a little different than they are now. Niggas weren't killing themselves or lynching themselves in the 30s. And this is the controversial point that I always have to say, and niggas have a problem with saying this, but the black community was in a better place when they truly were facing serious oppression. Oh, there go Troop wanting us to be, he wants us to be hanging from trees. He said it again.
Right. And on that note, speaking of education,
and Jedi, I'm move on, Jedi. I appreciate you, Jedi. I'm move on though. But thank you. I want to let Diana and then DA go, and we'll come back to you, Jedi. Diana, we're gonna let you go after DA, but DA, what did you have to say on the comment or on this particular subject matter?
Man, it's really mind blowing because you just compared it back to the 50s and 30s. Back then, they didn't have no education back then, bro. Granted, they were just working in plants and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And to say black men don't have no value, bro. You know how much black women in the put black men under the bus with child support and felonies and stuff like that, bro. We can't mess up a black woman life like how they can mess the black man life up at the end of the day, though. That's all I got to say, bro.
All right, DA. Well, thank you for your patience. I know. You're a victim essentially, right?
No. I'm saying I have been. I persevered through all that, but I'm saying with the main logic, what you say. See, that's what I'm saying. When someone give an opinion, that's so easy to say that, bro. That's not fair, bro. Y'all being black women. What black women have to offer us, bro? Back in the 30s and stuff, they wasn't popping ass on YouTube and being, you know what I'm saying, doing all these challenges and taking trips and one sugar daddies, and we got to pay for attention back then either, partner. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair, bro.
Okay, DA. I think the bigger question is this, DA. Now you're asking the group of women that out-educate you what value they have to bring. Is that what you're asking me?
Just I'm saying for what your title is saying, the black man has no value. I understand what the roundabout far as the educational wise, but at the end of the day,
so you understand that they out-educate you, right?
That what?
You understand that black women out-educate you, right?
Maybe by the percentile. I haven't did my research on that.
Okay,
I'm going on what you said. I'm going to research when I get off of here. But maybe, but
you're
listen,
luck, DA. Let me just enlighten you. Let me just
educated women don't teach.
Let me just enlighten you. All right, I'll have to put you on mute for a second because I know you can't hear when you're speaking. Let me just enlighten you. All right, I'll do your research for you. All right, I'm surprised you haven't done your research. Wow, what a coincidence. Black women have more education, have more college degrees than you. All right. So when you ask about the value, let me explain the value of a collegiate degree. When you have a collegiate degree, 99.9 times you survey people with college degrees compared to people with no college degrees. Actually, it's probably closer to like 90 or 95%. Studies have shown that college degree people make more money than non-college degree people. So, DA, the question is, what do you have to offer to black women? So let me ask you, DA, what do you in your feelings have to offer black women? What are you offering right now?
Far as what you're pertaining to.
What do you believe that your value is as a man?
My value is, man, I have a lot to offer far as I know, knowledge and just all about. I can't put no one. I can't put no one specific thing on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's different things for different folks. What you're looking for.
Right. Okay. So what is one thing that you're particularly good at that you feel like nobody else can really compete with you on?
Shit, what, man? I'm loyal, bro. I'm an understandable person, bro. You know what I'm saying? And my topic was what you had just said about the education, though, bro. As a black man, is educated, bro, he'll teach a woman something. An educated black woman won't teach an uneducated black man anything. That's all I'm saying, bro. If we didn't have teachers in school, we wouldn't know nothing, bro. A black man will go show a black woman something. A black woman won't take the time out to even acknowledge us on that.
Let me ask you
shit,
something. You said if teachers weren't in school, you wouldn't know anything. Do you think that there are more black female teachers or black male teachers? Give me an honest answer.
Man, it's probably more females. I had more female teachers in my whole life, bro. Females.
So when you say that black females don't offer any value, what exactly do you mean? Because obviously you're a little unversed.
I'm saying if they have value, bro, I'm just saying they won't offer it in enlightening as far as helping or teaching you anything.
Okay,
that's all I'm saying.
I get it. They don't offer value. Let's read a couple super chats because people have some questions for you. Okay, DA, we're gonna let you go in 1 second. All right. Good energy. I get it. Says he didn't ask what value other men have. He said, what value does black women have? Why do black men only want to compete with black women? That's a good question. Black men see black women as their competition. The direct answer to your question is because they can't compete with any other group of men, as studies have shown.
Is he still on? Is he still on the panel?
One second, Lisa. I'll let you on 1 second, okay? Miss Sincere says, nobody in the comments make fun of this Dusty for his accent. Most of the families from the country are from the South. Yeah, listen, I understand the accent. I get that, you know. I'm not going to go hard on anybody for the way they speak. As long as they're having some sort of form of intelligible conversation, I'm happy with it. I'm cool with it, you know. So the accent doesn't make anybody's intelligence. I agree with that. Even though we do joke about that. Linlin had a $5 super chat, but y'all are commenting so quickly that I can't even pull it up. It's gone. I've never had this problem before. I'll have to go to the actual YouTube stream to look at it. But I can't see it right now, Linlin, so my apologies. We're going to have to continue and go on for a second. If you have a question that you want to ask DA, then you can hop onto the panel, and we're going to start taking questions from DA. He seems to be firm in his thoughts, but we're going to see if by the end of this broadcast, we can change DA and reform him. I believe that we can convert this black male here. I do. I believe it. Now, how much percentage of the belief I have, I'm going to leave that to your guesstimation. Diana, what did you have to ask? You haven't spoken yet. And did you have anything you wanted to say in particular to DA? I see the slow down the chat. This is the first time I've had to do that, so I'll look into doing it. I don't even know how to do it, so might not be able to do it today. Diana, the floor is yours. We'll try and keep it quick, but if you have a question for DA, I want that to happen first.
I don't have a question for DA. I just have like a comment.
Okay, well,
we're going overall show, so I'll just wait till he gets done.
Yeah, we'll let DA. Thank you, Diana. I appreciate you, Diane. We'll let DA go first because I'm perplexed right now. I'm perplexed. Jim Falcon, I see you in the back there. We'll let you on in a bit. Lisa, did you have a question specifically for DA?
Yeah, I have a
Go
lot
ahead,
of
Lisa.
questions for. I have a lot of questions.
Let's start with one question for DA,
Hello?
and then we'll let him
Okay.
answer.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, I was gonna say I have a lot of questions for DA.
Okay, let's start with one, and we'll let him answer.
Yeah, I was gonna ask this main question that Black women ask all the time. When are you, for once, gonna compare and compete with white men, Latino men, Asian men, and not Black women? It's always
Well,
Black
that's a
women.
great.
What about Black women who put on child support? How about you take care of your kid or don't have a kid? Put on some condoms or a vasectomy, dude.
Oh,
But
Lisa, hold on, Lisa. Let's not give him too much truth right now. We have to let him deal with one truth bomb, Lisa. We're gonna come back to you. All right, DA, you heard it there. How do you want to answer Lisa's first part of her question? Why are you always comparing yourself to Black women or women in general?
Maybe because the Black woman is always the most race that's come for us, that are always down in us at the end of the day. And I don't have children, for one. For two, so I'm not dealing with it. I'm just speaking on the topic. It's not no personal what I have going on. I'm speaking on the general topic. But that's why, because the Black women, the most people that put us down, even more than the white man, bro.
So even more than the white man. Oh my goodness. More than white supremacy. So wait, you're telling me, hold on one second, Lisa. We'll let you go. You're telling me that Black female supremacy outweighs white supremacy now. This is unprecedented right here.
At least the white supremacy be more open with it. You know what I'm saying? The Black people like to hide it. You know what I'm saying? Act like they for us, and soon they drop the dime on us. Soon they get the chance to you. That's all I'm saying, bro. They be more open with it.
Dropping a dime, and Lisa, we'll let you go right now. Dropping a dime, if you do not speak Ebonics, means selling out essentially. And DA, I'm not saying it's Ebonics. I know it's slang and terminology, so forgive me. I'm not trying to insult you there. That was an insult, so forgive me, man. I didn't mean to insult you.
You good, bro? I ain't going on all that, bro.
Black women are different. Was Black women also the ones who hit you first when you literally in the 2000s, 2000, you were and your men were the first ones who put and throw attacks at Black women. You called our hair nappy. You said we looked too Black. You said our nose was too big. You said our lips were too big. And guess what? In the 60s, you abandoned your child. And guess what? In the 1700s, you in the Bacon Rebellion, you literally was with white women. Then 10 years after slavery ended, you guys literally went to the Supreme Court to get access to white women, not freedom for Black people, but Black women are the ones that attack Black men first. But you guys literally created a whole trend bashing Black women in the 2000s. What's the excuse for that? Now that we're responding, we're worse than white supremacists, right? No,
now y'all responding. Y'all going to IT.
Lisa, hold on one second, Lisa. We're gonna have to keep this somewhat. We're gonna address one thing at a time, and then we'll come back to you, Lisa. We'll come back to you. Queen Mercy, I see you. We'll come to you in a bit, Queen Mercy. Hopefully my mic doesn't start malfunctioning. I have my cell phone by it. Yes, Lisa, you do have some support. We'll let him answer it. I want to read the super chat really quickly. That is probably gone now. Jeez. Oh, Tarot by Khalil says there are Black women using their EBT card to pay commissary to Dusties in prison. What is he talking about? Black men give Black women burden, trauma, and poverty. DA, let me ask you about your criminal record here, and I'm not trying to dig into you, but are you a felon by chance?
Oh no, sir, no.
All right. Now, I've noticed something. Why is it that when we always talk about, and I appreciate the sir reference, but why is it that when we always talk about criminal justice, I always hear Black men referring to police as sirs, right? So the second I ask you something about that, I find it interesting that subconsciously the authority you recognize is based off of police and police type work. Now, listen, man, I'm happy for that, bro. And I appreciate you for actually being able to have a normal adulthood lifestyle earning in America. But my thing is this, if I really assess where Black women have been, it's been by the side and supporting Black men up until the point of their detriment, right? Up until the point to where Black men at this point are using any excuse that they can find to leverage power or to leverage the dynamic of control against Black women for the most part, right? Now, it seems to me that you don't embody anything that you're actually complaining about. You brought up child support, but you don't have any children. You brought up Black female supremacy, but there's nothing that Black women can control you by. So what personally have you experienced from Black women that causes you to take the stance against Black women that you have now?
Just an all around
no, what experience have you had that a Black woman did to you that causes you to say that black female supremacy is worse than white supremacy, is worse than the people that at one point, if you were born 150 years ago, would have hung you from a tree and ringed you by your neck? What propels somebody to say something like that? I'm curious.
Bro, I don't know. I don't have that feeling on that deep line what you saying. All I'm going on the general topic. That's what I came in on.
Well,
you know
I want to know what exactly you've experienced, because it seems to me you're fighting a battle that you have no idea which side you're really on. You're just kind of fighting right now, and you don't know why you're fighting. And the worst and the most dangerous warrior is the warrior that can switch sides at any given moment. When you don't have a clear, concise reason why you're fighting against who you're fighting against, that's a problem. So
no, bro, it's like giving every day. Like it's like no.
Have you had anything specific happen to you? Anything specific happen to you?
Man, I can't put it. Man, that's just like telling a whole bunch of crazy stories, bro. It's just the general that we have to deal with the black woman nowadays. It's like going outside. I'm going to give you an example.
Okay, if you have one story, if you have millions of stories, it shouldn't be that hard for you to choose one. Just give me one, all right?
You gotta pick the dustiest of all stories.
Give me one story, DA.
Man, I can't think. It's so many, bro. It's just like life, period, bro. Dealing with a black woman is so hard nowadays, bro. It's unbearable, bro. It's unbearable.
Okay,
that's why we need to talk outside our race. We need to talk outside our race.
Was it hard in the 2000s when you were bashing us? You were literally dragging us all over for decades.
Let me ask
you were
this, Lisa.
dragging us all over for decades, but as soon as we done wiping your ass and feeding you baby milk, you crying. When the white men did, black women did, black women did. Grow up, grow fucking balls. You
That's
pussy.
why I bet you are not married, man. That's why the percentage is so low in the black women being married. Because that's all y'all want to do.
No,
we're gonna speak about marriage in 1 second.
No, because y'all bum selves don't want to ask women to marry, so that's why we're not married. Because you don't want to propose. It's not our fault. We're not getting married. It's your fault. You ain't getting on your knees. So shut up.
Okay, Lisa, that's a great point there, DA. So if we're gonna bring up the marriage context or marriage conversation, DA, are you married right now?
No, I'm not married.
Of course not. So let me ask you, DA, if you're gonna bring marriage into the conversation and you're not married, do you not see how that could be a bit of a contradiction?
No, man. No.
Here's why. Let me stop you here. So you claim that you can't get married to black women because, of course, all black women are devious and the devil, right? So why aren't you married to a white woman right now, or a Maria, or a Shang Li? Why are you not married to another race?
Honestly, bro, I'm just not waking up on these like the last 2 years. I have not been used to dating outside my race. You know what I'm saying? To be honest.
Oh, you're not used to dating outside your race.
No, I'm not.
Have you ever had a woman outside of your race?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have dealt with a woman outside my race. It's like years ago.
So you've dealt with it, but you're not used to it.
No, I love black women, man, but it's just so hard. It's just now seeing how the world's turning. We have to talk outside our race, or we won't make it, bro. We'll be the black man, the black race we'll be off the face of the earth in 30 years, man. We keep on dealing with the black women.
It's over at this point for you, DA. It's over. You're just waiting to die, pretty much, right?
No, I'm finna talk outside. I'm planning on talking outside my race, man. That's what I'm planning on doing.
So when was the last interracial? When was the last interracial you had, DA? I'm curious.
The last interracial person I talked to?
Yes.
This is probably like 5-6 years ago, man.
5 or 6 years ago.
A fat white woman. That's who.
No, I bet she won. Let's see.
I want you to do something, DA. DA, I want you to do something. I want you to come back to this live stream when you get married to your white woman. And if you do, I will give you $1,000 cash. You present the marriage certificate. You have my word on live. And you know what? I can't even say that because I know you'll find some random white woman in Las Vegas and marry her for the money.
Why she got to be white, though? Why we got to be white? That's
well, I don't know. What race of women do you prefer?
Because y'all bussy pop for white women all the time. Y'all bussy pop twerking in the comments for white women.
Hold on, baby. I bet you won't take a trip. You'll take a trip over there with them camels over there in Dubai. Y'all.
All right.
Boy, I'm married, boy. I don't need it. At least my man can provide.
Well,
you still bussy popping, spreading dust all over where you go. So shut the fuck. Shut up.
It's okay, Lisa. Listen, Lisa, you brought some good points. We're gonna read a couple super chats, and DA, here's what I'm saying, and here's why Lisa and everybody's saying what they're saying. You can't bring up marriage if you're not married, and particularly you're not married to the woman that you claim is your preference. So you can't use marriage against black women and black women not being married when you're not even married to black women. But then you're not married to any other race of women either. That's like me insulting a doctor, but I didn't go to medical school. That's like me saying he's a terrible surgeon, but I didn't even walk through the door at a college at university. That doesn't make any sense. You don't have the credentials needed to insult that particular type of person or their credentials. You haven't experienced that. or even come close to it. So you don't have the ability to talk about black women being or not being married when you're not even married to begin with to any race of women. Cerebral with the $5 super chat says, how much does he make a year and what is his career? Well, if he tells the truth, we'll see. What has been the main problem with black women he's dated? He hasn't been able to give us one single incident of a situation that he's been at the hands of malevolently by black women. He has millions of stories, but he can't think of one right now. He's on the spot. So we'll give him some time to think of a single situation. $20 super chat from Way Principal says, and we're going to make it even harder for black men to deal with us, as you should for the most part. Now, we're going to get back to him and his dustiness here. We're ascending to new levels of dust, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live stream. 574 people watching tonight. It is a record. It is a record. We have some people on the panel. I believe Jedi Mike has a couple of questions from him, but we're going to go ahead and wait for a second. Jedi Mike, before we come to you, I want to let DA come back and explain if maybe he can conjure up a story here. Maybe he can conjure up a story. DA. Now, listen, I know the black woman's evil, the white woman's evil, even though the white man's evil, even though the white woman's not evil or any other race, right? Whatever. When do you think, or when do you see, thank you for the $5 super chat, Sherelle. We'll see it in a second. When do you think, first of all, let's go ahead and ask you to answer the question. What is your value? What exactly do you do in life right now, DA?
I've been a truck driver going on 3 years, bro. I drive trucks.
Okay, it's a good.
And
that's
I'm
a good paying
start
job.
Business and all that, bro. But my main point of saying, bro, you saying this, what you saying about black men, how that's educating us, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro.
How's it educating you?
Yeah, this is y'all cut me off when I say my point of, because a black man will meet an uneducated woman and show her something, but a black educated woman.
So what are you going to show? What are you going to show a black educated woman? What exactly are you going to show her? How to drive a truck? And listen, there's nothing wrong with driving trucks. That's what you want to do. What exactly are you going to show her?
That's what I'm saying. How can I tell you what I'm gonna show somebody if I don't know the person that what she need to be shown? That doesn't make any sense, man. See, that I'm saying, that's how you do when a man come over here and say something. How can I answer that, bro? That's a rhetorical question, bro.
Okay.
Aren't you a leader? Okay. Aren't you a leader though? I'm sorry, don't men lead? Why can't you lead?
No, how we lead if y'all don't listen? That don't make any sense. That's what I'm saying. Y'all being hypocritical, man.
Maybe you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. You're throwing dust in the air. That's why. That's why you don't listen.
What I'm saying is we'll show y'all something for y'all to show us anything. That's all I'm saying.
DA, why haven't you been able to show another race of women something? Why is that?
That's a good question, because I've been stuck trying.
All right, DA, you're back on mute. We're gonna move on. All right, that's a good question. That's a good question indeed. You're complaining about black women, but you can't show anything else. And DA, listen, I know I'm beating you a lot, but listen, I really do appreciate you staying on, man. Okay, we have more questions for you. All right, we're gonna keep it there. We're gonna come back to DA. We're gonna try and figure this out. I have faith, ladies and gentlemen. I have faith. 593 people watching. We're gonna break the 600 barrier mark. DA is gonna be a changed man by the end of this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it. He wants.
No, he's still gonna be a pussy boy. He's still gonna be a pussy boy.
Lisa, you stop that, Lisa. That is so mean. That is so rude.
Sorry.
You stop that. We're gonna move on here. We have a few men that want to ask something to DA here. Maybe they don't. Dasher's back in the building. Good to see you again, Dasher. Queen Mercy, though, before we get to the men, Queen Mercy. Oh, Goat, I see you as well. Goat, I haven't even let you go yet. So Goat's gonna go ahead and go. Then we'll go to Queen Mercy. Goat, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Right. So my questions are for you because people have told me that I should be collabing with you. And, you know,
who is this?
Being a former person from the Manosphere. Say what?
Who? I'm not meaning any offense, but who are you?
My name is Taz, bro.
Oh, hey, Taz. Oh, man. Hey, Taz. Yeah, definitely, Taz. So send me an email, man. We can collab. I want to keep this about DA for right now, but we'll come back to this in a bit, Taz.
I want to talk to you.
All right, well, I want to talk about DA right now, so give me a second, Goat, and we'll come back to you in a bit, man. I want to keep this on DA for now, but I'll come back to you, Taz. Just give me a few more minutes, man. We're going to talk about this for a while. Shout out to Taz, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's is he Nyla's husband, I believe? Forgive me if I'm getting it wrong. Yo.
Yeah, he's her husband. Well, he's her husband, yeah.
Oh, nice. That's awesome, man. Good to see you, Taz. Good to see you. We're going to move on here. We're going to move on. Queen Mercy, did you have a question for DA, Queen Mercy? And we're going to try and keep it a little quick here, Queen Mercy, if you can. Queen Mercy, you have to unmute yourself if you can. Oh, there you go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can say something as a as an educated Black woman, right? I come from the gutter. I come from, I have a very turbulent past myself. I did my community service to a uneducated Black man, to someone who had his ghetto free pass, age 36, didn't have his high school diploma. I helped him get his education, helped him through college.
What
I
happened?
helped him.
Doesn't sound good.
Can you hear me?
to him.
Can you hear me? I helped him.
Yes, we
I helped
can.
him
Talk
through
to him.
college. I helped him with his finals. I helped him with his resume. I helped him get his first job at a private practice. And what
Come
he
on.
did is he left me for a white girl when he got on. And we all Black. That would be called being a mammy, right? And the other thing is, Black women, educated Black women, when they see a man, women who are passionate about their community, will tell a Black man, go get your education. If you don't want to go to college, go get a trade. So miss me with that BS. You a fucking lie, okay?
Well, Queen Mercy, we appreciate you for trying to decrease the Black female supremacy against Black males, even though DA claims that you're more supremacist than the white females, and we appreciate that personal story. Unfortunately, the story that we've heard from Queen Mercy is a story that a lot of women can echo in the Black community, trying to bring up the dusties from the bottom, trying to offer them hope and prosperity, only to realize that you cannot change a man who's 20-something odd years in the making. 30-something odd years in the making. Hello, Bedrock baby. Good to see you in here. DA, what do you think about hearing that story right there, DA? I mean, do you still think that Black females are just as supremacist as white supremacists?
Nah, I understand that, bro. I know I have never ran across a good Black woman like that, bro. I understand it's Black women help men, and they come up and leave. I understand that.
So you think that most Black women would be not the type of woman that you just got done hearing speaking on this panel, right? They're not like that. You would say that most Black women
You want to hear my
don't.
percentage? I think it's like percentage, like 40 or 30% of women left like that, like they was just on the phone.
Now listen, I want to ask you a question. Why do you feel that it's Black women's need to raise up Black men from the ashes to rise into the phoenix? Why do you think
I don't believe in that? Honestly, I don't believe in that. No, I
you
don't
believe in them
that.
following you, right?
No, I don't. I believe in them having their own thing going on nowadays. No, I don't even believe in that. That just the man just follow this. Y'all listen to everything the man says. I don't even believe in that anymore, bro. No, I believe in 50-50. That's all. You have to have your own mind frame, your own goals and ambitions with it.
So you want them to submit. You want them to submit fully to you, but pay half the rent, though, right?
You know where I stay, bro. Listen. Black women,
and here, this is why I'm saying this. This is why I'm saying this, DA. This is why I'm saying this. You said that women can't take no leadership from you, right? But how are you going to lead a woman if you're expecting her leadership in part to contribute to the relationship as well? Does that make sense?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say I don't want a woman to follow me 100%. It's loyalty nowadays with a Black woman, bro. They'll say this and that behind doors. They'll be calling Tom and everybody else. At the end of the day, Black women are not loyal enough for them to be reprimanding us like they be doing, bro. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Black men don't cheat, ladies and gentlemen.
We're not doing dancing for white women and white men at the same time. So you fruity. I don't know what you mean by that. You fruity. You've been holding your dumb ass. Oh my God, you're dumb self for years.
Thank you, Lisa. Lisa, we're gonna let him make it. Lisa, thank you so much, dear. Okay, so we know Black men don't cheat, and that if Black women were loyal, then 50-50 would work out, right? 50-50. We managed to find it again, ladies and gentlemen. So we speak about this all the time, the 50-50 dynamic. You're not. Like he said, he thinks that Black women don't follow him. Black women don't follow Black man's leadership. But of course, now they want to do 50-50. If you want to do 50-50, that's fine. Not everybody's going to be in a financial position, especially in 2021, to pay all the bills. I get that. However, you can't ask for 50% of a relationship in monetary currency donated to various amount of rents or whatever it might be, and then also expect her to follow your tutelage on how to, I don't even know what in a relationship pretty much DA is talking about at this point. I'm not sure what exactly he's trying to do lead or what he's trying to teach or instill inside of his women. We'll ask him in a bit. But 50-50 has made its way back into the conversation. So we'll see. We got some more people on the panel. Jedi, I know, wants to say a couple of things here, but we got to kind of go on. I have Khalil that joined us. Khalil, as well as Kenshin. Khalil, we're going to keep it quick. Do you have any questions for DA or anything to back up his sentiments? Khalil, you have to unmute yourself, or I unmuted you. Go ahead. Try again.
Yes, can you hear me?
Hi, Khalil. Yes, I hear you perfectly.
Hi, yes. I'm sorry. I don't have a picture up because I have a public-facing job, so I'm not supposed to be, on any platforms that could compromise my job.
Absolutely.
But as far as I don't know, his name is D. So I've seen plenty of women in my personal life that have literally been drugged through the mud helping out Black men through college. These are women who have children for Black men and they don't pay child support. These women are going to school and taking care of these kids alone. A lot of these Black men, I don't think that they see the value of Black women because they don't really, because the Black women are not necessarily their preference. So if society doesn't see them as a status symbol, no matter what Black women do, they're not going to be their their value is not going to be acknowledged. So no matter what we do for them, it's never going to be seen because you don't really value the person in the first place because she is a Black woman. And so, again, personally, I've helped, ex-boyfriends get through school or try to get through school. I have, helped support, my community as far as, the youth and so on. But the men, by and large, they don't want to they don't want to step up to the plate. They want the woman to do the bulk of the work. And when they talk about loyalty, they mean to accept abuse and disrespect without any consequence. So if I'm loyal to you, I'm supposed to just sit there and just take whatever you give me to prove my value to you. And it still won't be enough because then you'll find another excuse to not commit to me. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say with that. I'll stay on the line, but I'm kind of nervous. But
No, you've done great,
yeah.
and I appreciate that. And that was a great point and very well echoed. Thank you so much, Khalil. Yeah, it's a great point there. DA, we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. I want to let Kier 101 Space Zero speak, one of the channel favorites and highest channel contributors. Kier, it's so good to have you on the panel. Like always, I appreciate you and everything you do for this live stream and for my channel. Thank you so much, Kier. What did you have specifically to ask DA or anything at all that you wanted to add to this conversation as we continue with 594 people watching right now?
Oh, thank you so much. Hi, Honest Truth, hi chat, hi panel. I really wasn't gonna get on tonight. I was just kind of sit back and let everybody speak and have their say and everything. It wasn't until he brought up loyalty.
Yeah, what did you think about his observation of loyalty within the Black women's history, within them being hung from trees with Black men, led across the Atlantic, Pacific Oceans, right beside their Black men who sold them into slavery, chained and bound on ships for months on end, jumping overboard as they removed themselves from the existence of the three-dimensional plane, this blue and green ball we spin in the middle of nowhere at the hands of Black males leaders. What did you think about his remarks on the lack of loyalty that Black men have shown the most failed leading men in the history of mankind?
I really wasn't gonna say anything because honestly, I mean,
You're saying a lot right there, Kier. You're saying a lot right there.
These last few days have been a little bit kind of sort of in my feelings, so I wasn't gonna say anything tonight. But until he just brought up that L word, and I've really been thinking about this past week, I just find it interesting that a man would come up here and say something about loyalty, but yet I can look at my own life and tell that I've had more good experiences with my life than women than I've ever had with men in my entire life. I'm not the person or the gender that's so easily swayed by my own gender just because I'm trying to get in with a certain type of crowd. So
Kier, that's something definitely consider for the future, and I really appreciate the perspective, Kier. We're going to see you in a little bit. We'll come back to you. 600 people. This is the first time we've broken 600 people watching live. That is absolutely phenomenal. That's a new record, ladies and gentlemen. We are growing slowly but surely, and I appreciate you for joining us tonight. Lindley with the $15 super chat says, I know there are dudes balling, and yeah, that's nice. They want to keep calling and trying, but you stay right, girl. And when you get on, he'll leave your ass for a white girl. Kanye West. I believe that was Gold Digger, circa 2004, if I'm correct. Somebody can verify that for me. Kanye West just had a Donda album release party where he ascended into the sky. Jesus ascended into the sky in Atlanta, Georgia. It's entertaining to say the least. I appreciate that $15 super chat rather, and also a $5 super chat from Alexander Brandon. He says, I'm a Black man, and I wouldn't even want to live with most Black men who think like D.A., Donovan Sharp, Osei Jackson, or Kevin Samuels. Right. What these Black men want is slaves. They want women to be slaves to them. If you say one thing, Oh, you done stepped out of bounds now. Shame, black women. Shame for not following the black leaders, the most conquered group of men. We're now admitting that black female supremacy is worse than white supremacy. That's a new one. I haven't heard that tonight. We're moving on, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to come back to DA, and I appreciate DA for being here. Lisa, well, I'm going to let Kenshin go really quickly, Lisa, and then we'll come back to you after Kenshin. Then we'll go to DA. Lisa's on fire tonight. She has a lot to say to you, DA. DA, I appreciate your patience. $5 super chat from Sherelle. She says you simply cannot afford the submission and femininity you require. Absolutely not. If you were not the least earning men, then maybe something you would be saying would actually have relevance to it. If you weren't the most uneducated group of men, then maybe something that you're saying, DA, would have more relevance to it. But since you're not any of those, since you haven't built the community, and thank you so much, Jaleesa Monet, since you have not built the community to obtain the level of submission or slave-mindedness that you seek from your women, you don't have the ability to speak on the unfaithfulness or the unsubmissive spirit of black women. Black women should have been unsubmissive to black men hundreds of years ago. It might have saved their lives, to be completely honest with you. Unfortunately, they were a bit too late. How much longer they need to wait, I'm not sure. Kenshin, the floor is yours. Kenshin, are you a lady, a guy? Do you support what DA is saying? I haven't seen your name before. Welcome to the panel. Let's try and keep it quick.
Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening to all. I appreciate you. I am from the Caribbean, the Bahamas.
Nice.
And I have, been coming across a lot of research in the past, 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
But I would say this: my culture is from my grandpa and my father.
Okay, let's try and keep it quick here. I know your life story and everything, but let's try and keep it. What's your point that you're trying to make tonight?
Right. So my culture is my grandfather and my father. So culture is not hip hop. It's not pieces of what we claim is our culture. Culture starts from your parents because they identify what you're going to stare in your life.
Okay, Kenshin. Listen, man, I understand that. What are you trying to prove essentially tonight? 20 seconds or less. What exactly do you want to say about the value of black men? What is it that you're trying to say?
I think, for me, your virginity is your value. And so.
All right. We're not talking about virginity. I know you niggas are obsessed with young women, and that's why you bring up these virginity arguments. We're going to go ahead and take you down, Kenshin. I hope you're enjoying paradise in the Caribbeans. You should really enjoy your life at this point because I'm not sure where exactly you're going in it. So just enjoy the scenery. Okay, that was a dust moment that kind of took the train off of the tracks there. Jesus Christ, help us, Lord. I believe that when God split the heavens and the tranquility of the observance of the inner soul was released, that the Transformers and Bumblebee merged with Optimus to create a haven for the subsidiaries of the complex of the mind. Woo! All right. That was powerful. Wow. Lord have mercy. Okay, we're going to go and roll this thing back to DA. Jedi Mike, did you have a question for DA that you wanted to ask him there? Jesus.
Yeah, it basically is a quick scenario. When let's say, the topic of loyalty. Loyalty is anything is competitive, that is earned, right? So think of it, matter of fact, as a company or like a restaurant, a business, whatever, right? And you have say, well, we have 100% customer loyalty, whatever, right? And the product they offer to you is defective. Did the company complain, man, our customers are shit, man, they don't know nothing, whatever? It's like, instead of saying we actually have a defective product that we're presenting to our customers that they're not liking, they're not accepting, you think they're going to say, I'm going to still stay with this company? No, they're going to go somewhere else. So I'm asking you, do you understand that logic?
DA, do you understand what he's saying? Or what do you have to say back to that?
Maybe he need to put in his place. Because what I was gonna say.
How does that compare to the black woman and the black man? What does that have to do with anything? Because a defect from a black man, a black woman gonna discard us, right? They're gonna kick us to the curb, right? But a black woman with a defect, we supposed to work on it, right? That's hypocritical.
Well, no, what we're seeing more often, DA, is that the defective black men are still having chances. Like we just heard about the story tonight. Black women are still giving defective men chances. I'm telling them not to do that. However, black women are the most loyal group of women in the history of mankind.
Wow. But when I say lead, when I say 50-50, bro, I don't want no woman to listen to everything I say. I stay by myself, bro. You don't have to stay with me. I ain't talking about no money, bro. Y'all bring money up and everything. We talking about loyalty, bro. What about the black man that'll break their neck for the black woman at the end of the day, divorce them and take everything? Or just because I ain't married, I don't have no no opinion on that, bro.
But
That's
you're
not
not
true.
even the type of man that would break your neck for black women. You're sitting up here talking about how bad black women are, so you don't even embody what you're speaking. But listen, I asked you to bring up a single circumstance where I asked you to bring up a certain circumstance where you had yourself betrayed by a black woman, and you can't bring me one.
You made a good point. You know why it's probably like that, bro? Because I broke my neck for a black woman. That's why. That's probably why. Because I'm probably so bitter because I know I'm a lawyer as hell, bro. At the end of the day, y'all say all this about the black man, bro. But at the end of the day, bro.
Let me ask you then, DA. Since even though you can't bring a single story up to fruition on how this black woman broke your neck, I'll just assume that you're right and that she did. Is the answer for you to start raging against black women now and then start becoming the hand of white supremacy that you claim so afflicts black people in America? Because I know you believe in white supremacy, right? You believe in the white man's out to get you, right?
Let me give an answer. Okay, but why does it, if the black woman feel that way, why can they crucify us and doing just like what you doing now then? What's the difference?
So wait a second. Why is it okay for you to do it, but they can't do it? It's pretty much what you're asking.
No, I'm saying why is when we say this, that's what it come off of. But when the black woman say it's supposed to get praise and they're trying to help us, and we pose it don't come off.
Let me ask you a question, DA. Let me ask you a question. If you're so afflicted by, in 1 second, Lisa, I'll let you go in 1 second. If you're so afflicted by black women, would you not be happy that they choose not to be with you anymore? Would that not solve your problems? I'm not understanding.
You set them free.
There you go. Listen, you don't have to deal with them anymore. You should be running around in Jubilee. Look at you.
But that's the case. Then why the women should have some opinion about the men that don't have no education or this?
But you don't care about them to begin with. So why is it your concern?
That's been it because I'm black.
Because you're black. All right. Well, I guess we'll keep going on.
You men attack black women first. That's why.
We'll let DA come back. Listen, DA is actually, when I mute him, he actually stays on mute. I can't say that about anybody else. So I have to give you huge respect to DA right there. Even though we don't agree, I give him respect for that. So thank you, DA, for at least, being respectful of the rules, man. Jedi Mike, we'll let you go with the question. Then I want to let Lisa go and have her turn to speak. And then we'll go to our super chats.
Yeah, can you say one key word that I want anybody to listen to what you said? You said bitterness and over the things you were fumbling. And to me, bitterness is a PP, personal problem. So it's like, if you're not doing that, you think that attitude reflects leadership, and as men, we're supposed to be in that position. It's saying their responsibility, and you're complaining about their attitude or their loyalty, anything like that. Who's the head? It is you. And if you're adequate, then what do you think is going to happen?
Bro, yeah, let the pain go, man. I know it hurts. Listen, I had my heart broken too, bro. Listen, it's not just black men that have their heart broken. I hate to be honest,
man. That's the life of man. It's like, listen, you got your heartbreak and you move on. That's called you learn, you move, you grow, and you prosper. That's the thing. But if you learn, go through heartbreak, and then then turn to the villain, it's like that. You basically go into the mindset. That's what the Manosphere is. It's like, you know what? We became the Night King. The women have attacked our hearts. Therefore, we become the ice cold villains. That's spreading the winter over to people, and this degenerate mindset. But last time I checked, it was a woman who stabbed the Night King into the chest. So it's anything, regardless where you want to be, they're gonna be your demise, because you're gonna keep feeding into the fact that they're your enemy and stuff like that. Well, guess what? If they're your enemy, you're going to lose. That's the case.
And Jedi, it's so true. It's like, and that's a great point you brought up, Jedi. I want to read this $5 super chat real quick by Tarek by Khalil. She says, these men want to be broken, uneducated, abusive, and disloyal. Pick a struggle. Black women are supposed to follow a man with no direction. Right. DA, I'm trying to get you I'm trying to get your direction, your sense of direction of what you're trying to drive your women to. And that's not what I'm getting an accurate hold of. Now, listen, I understand your idea about respect and loyalty, right? I get that. But this is something that all races of men have to go through. Listen, man, as a man, you're going to go through hell. You're going to go through heartbreak. Hey, women have more options to date than men do. So a lot of times men, and this is why a lot of men are in the manosphere, and they love seeing Kevin Samuels destroy black women, because it gives them that satisfaction that they so seek, that retribution that they want to be leashed on all the black women, or all women in general. They love to see it. And it's very dangerous to put yourself or keep yourself in that position. I understand you go through the red pill rage when you wake up to the true nature of women. But after this, and after you wake up to the realization and see how dating really is, which in a lot of cases it's not, but if you decide to go through that, then you're still going to have to get through that rage phase, man. You're going to have to say, okay, you know what? It might not always be fair in life. I might get my heart broken, but I can't start the hateful tirade, that I claim that I'm so afflicted by. That's like looking the enemy in the mirror and then becoming the enemy because, well, I can't fight the battle courageously and righteously, so I'm just going to turn myself into the demon that I claim to hate, right? That's not going to win you the battle. You're going to succumb to the same evil inner desires and conquests that made you hate the enemy to begin with. You have to, as a man, bro, accept that things are going to happen. Bullshit's going to happen. You're going to get hurt in life. Life's going to be unfair. This is with all aspects of life. At your job, somebody else might get a promotion over you. They might be white, they might be Latino, Mexican, whatever it might be. Unfairness is going to happen. You have to be okay emotionally and stable enough emotionally to get past it and to not let that fade your character or your persona or your development. Because if that happens, and that happens enough times in life, eventually you're going to either snap or you're going to do something that's completely out of character, which is going to land you in a situation that you don't want to be. You're walking in darkness right now, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're walking in darkness, and there's no need to walk in darkness. Life is too short for that. It's a lot easier to accept the things that you can't change and to be the best person that you can be. Turning into the hate that you despise is not going to do anything for you, man. You're still going to complain and be afflicted at the end of the day. This is why I speak on these situations. And listen, I appreciate DA's honesty, and I appreciate Jedi Mike for bringing up that point and that concept. The Manosphere hates the very thing that they are, essentially, right? They create their own problems. It's not just black women that are not loyal, bro. Okay? Every race of women cheats on guys. This is something that guys are always going to have to deal with, particularly in the 21st century with the modern advents of technology like Tinder and Facebook, whatever it might be. Women can swipe right on every single guy and she'll match with every single guy. That's just the name of the game. Rather, it's a lot better for you to work and be the best man that you can be, to separate yourself from the pack. I guarantee you, then you'll have less problems with women. That's the solution. Be the best person you can be, and the rest takes care of itself. So I appreciate that, DA. And listen, I really appreciate having DA on. 600 people still watching. Rebounding from narcissistic abuse says this is deep. This is what I had to do for myself because I was once in that red pill Manosphere rage too. Oh, women are trash. Women are this, women are that. And I had to look in the mirror and say, well, what really am I really giving to women for them to want to be with me right now? I was homeless and sleeping in my car. Like, come on, Jonathan, get a grip. You deserve to get cheated on. Oh, there goes True. He be self-deprecating and hating himself. No, I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being honest. When you're boss up, you won't have problems with women. I guarantee it. Right. And even if you do, life goes on. All right. I understand heartbreak. That can be tough. The heart doesn't make sense. But sense makes sense. Lisa, I'll let you go. Again, Lisa, the floor is yours. Thank you for your time, Lisa, and your patience.
This is my last stuff to say before being on the comments. I understand about the interaction. I don't like,
Lisa, can you get a little closer to the mic?
Is this better?
No, it's actually a little worse, actually.
Hello?
Yeah, the signal's dropping a little bit, Lisa. Say something again.
Hi.
Okay, that's perfect. Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay. So I want, what's his name? DA? I want DA to, marinate this. I want you to just see it in this point. Don't be emotional. Think of it at this point. Black women. We literally were the same women who were there for you when the white man was hitting you, spitting on you, lynching you, R-ing you, and did the same to us, but we cried for you. And white women helped their men in that too. They were laughing at you. They did the same. They had no mercy for you. But black women were the same women who were crying for you and were begging the masters not to do that to you and actually sacrifice our body for you too. But over time, we've been all this to you, but you guys hit the first treasonous attack to us by asking for access to white women. That was the first attack you did to us. We said nothing. Then 60s came. Malcolm X was a great man. But then you guys left us with kids. And then we had to get help because you guys wasn't helping us in the home. And then the 2000s came. You guys bashed us in our features. You guys attacked us. You guys lowered our self-esteem. And we were begging for you guys to respect us. We were begging for your love. And you loved it. You didn't say nothing. You didn't say, oh, black women are masculine. Oh, black women are doing this gender war. Black women hate the black man. You guys didn't say that at all.
You guys were actually laughing at us and calling us all type of names. You guys said unless we're light skinned or mixed, you don't deserve protection from black men. That's what you guys said. You guys said, oh, we don't owe y'all shit. That's what y'all exact words to dark skin and medium tone brown skin women were. And then for 18 years, we've been like that with you ever since 2000s. And then 2018 came when you guys literally left and y'all made the community trash. And when a black woman speak out, it's you guys are asking for too much. Y'all standards are too high, or y'all need to shut up, or why y'all speaking back and this and that. And then in 2018, when we was like, you know what? Since these men are not helping us, since these men say, oh, they don't owe shit, how about we get protection by getting degrees and getting more money to live on their house? And that's what we went to do. But then you guys somehow made that negative and said it's masculine to get degrees. Then you go listen to your Kango dandy right now talking about black women. You guys made fun of us. You guys bullied us, and we said nothing. But when we defending ourselves, now it's suddenly black women betrayed you guys. Now it's suddenly, oh, black women are worse than white supremacists. But you guys were the same one laughing at us when you made fun of us. We literally asked you, leave us alone. We're not in competition with you. Compete with white men. White men are the ones with white supremacy. The white men put us down. Well, how about you go fight that? Not us. Go to the root of the problem. Not us. We're not the root. We're the ones that was actually helping you until you showed your true colors and said, F you, black women. That's what you guys said to us. And then we have to walk alone now. And when we try talking, you guys still gaslighting us and you guys never take accountability. You left single moms. And we always ask, what about the fathers? You guys never talk about the fathers who left. You guys bullied our skin, but you guys said only ugly women complain about colorism, right? So I'm guessing all black women are ugly then. And then you guys talk about our bodies, even though you're fat too. You're the fattest men, I think. In the men section, you're the fattest. And we're the fattest women, as stats say. You guys say nothing when you guys were inflicting pain on us. But when we say and we clap back, you have a problem. And so I want you to take accountability. And for one, stop blaming black women. Stop trying to compete with us. Stop trying to compare with us and compete and do that with men, not us. We are trying to compete and do that with white women here. But you're so threatened by us because you feel entitled to control us and our bodies that you're jealous, that you're mad. You're the bitter one here. It's not the bitter black woman. It's the bitter black man now. It's not fun. You see how it feels now, huh? Now we're crying out. You have a problem with that. But we won't stop. We will literally continue talking on you because there's many videos of you guys talking on black women way before this divestment stuff and way before we even responded. You guys started this and we're just clapping back. You wanted to spit fire? Well, we're burning you now. Deal with it. And that's all I got to say.
Absolutely, Lisa. So well said. That's exactly why I created this channel. There needed to be a platform where, and eventually we will get to the numbers of some of the larger content creators, where we could put the truth out for the true nature of what black women have to go through in Blackistan. Right? Well, this is everything that Lisa said. We've all heard. Black men fantasize and fantasize other races of women. Oh, I got me a yellow bone, right? Yellow bone or a red bone. Fantasizing and fetishizing lighter skin. They fetishize white women. They fetishize everything other than a direct representation of exactly what they are. And I believe that that's a severe level of self-hatred. But more than that, it's a severe level of inhumanity, right? Everybody's human, right? Everybody has feelings. But for whatever reason, black males have, for the most part, unified and made pop culture within the black community everything that celebrates destroying every aspect of humanity. That's why black violence in communities is the highest. That's why they made billion-dollar industries talking about and rejoicing and killing each other, right? I.e. rap music. This is why black males have a hard time unifying together to actually start businesses. Like DA, you said you wanted to start a business. Well, as a black man, it's going to be the hardest for you to start a business because your community, your fellow black brothers lack the unification needed to actually create something progressive like a business. You're going to have a very hard time building and forming infrastructure within your own community. There's a reason for that. And that's the reason why I made this channel, because the rest of the world needs to know, as you continue to betray your own people, essentially, continue the hands of true white supremacy by your own hands, that your women are either not going to go for it anymore, or that the rest of society is going to recognize what your women go through and turn it into more Goldman Sachs, where they donate and invest into black women. Miss Know-It-All says black men are the most promiscuous, low-earning, educated, and aggressive, emotionally unstable, who waste the best years of their life playing house without looking for the next best thing. Miss Know-It-All, that was a serious, that was serious typing right there. Miss Know-It-All, it's a little hard to read that, Miss Know-It-All. Right? We like to get onto the men for the comments sometimes, and so I don't want anybody to kind of get onto you for them. Tony Morrison says this isn't a divestment channel, but True supports black women doing what is best for them. Absolutely. If you find a good black man, then obviously get with that black man. Make no mistake about it, though. However, most likely, if he is a family-oriented, college-educated, as the numbers show, no felony convicted type of black male in the black community, that is not a unicorn in essence, but a severe minority type of man. That just does not happen. That's not the most prevalent man that we have in our communities. I understand cultural differences. I get all of that. I really do. However, it needs to be addressed and really brought to light. The true amount of men that we really have in the black community. There's not that many. There's not that many. And I get there's a lot of black men that are married, yada, yada, yada. But at the same breath, you can't use an argument like DA is using. Whoa, black women are the least married. Nobody wants to marry black women. And then in the same breath, claim or purport that you are just a successful marrying man who's loyal and this, and that. Well, that's not the truth, because if that was, then a lot more of you be married. And if you're not married to black women, a lot more of you be married interracially, because if you pose the same qualities, that would lead to a substantial, well-building, economically fortified family inside of socio-capitalistic America. Other races of women will respect that quality in you, just as they respect that quality in every other race of man. Right? The proof is in the pudding, is what I'm trying to say. Proof is in the pudding. We have 595 people still watching us tonight. I know, DA, we've kind of covered this subject a bit. We're going to go ahead and move on here. DA, I appreciate you. We'll come back to you in a second. Taz or Goat, I know we have a couple of other people that are just now joining us, so we'll let y'all on in 1 second. I can't mute Jay. Jay, I'm going to take you down because I can't mute you right now, and I don't want any audio feedback coming up. Taz, I appreciate your patience, man. I go ahead. The floor is yours. What did you want to cover or talk about?
Right. So how long have you been speaking on behalf of women and girls? Because it's like you Manosphere dudes, y'all are quit, and then you see some money on the other side.
I'm not a part of the Manosphere, and just like I said, if you want to hear my history, and I'm not gonna go back and forth with you, Taz. I know that you're just kind of here to derail the conversation. If you want to hear about my history, you can go back to the Addressing Kevin Samuels and Haters live stream video there. All right. Now, there's a lot more money berating black women than there is talking on behalf of black women, and I have to deal with a lot of hateful people who still, for whatever reason, see it best to make their stance known that they are not in support of black women or whatever it might be. All right. So if you want to hear that, Kevin Samuels and Addressing the Haters is where you can watch that. All right. I know you're laughing. I know you're laughing in the chat there. So we'll go ahead and block you. You can create another account to laugh and joke amongst yourself. All right. No, I'm not playing tonight. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Rosie.
Oh, yeah, man. Okay, listen, man. I just want to talk on the topic and shit. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly. Go ahead, Rosie.
Okay, now I just wanted to talk about how, I just wanted to agree with some of the things that you say, man.
Okay.
Black women do deserve protection and love. They deserve to be, they need to be valued by this black man. We have dropped the ball a whole lot in our community. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I understand that black women are fed up. Black women have gone through a lot with us. You feel me? And it's we put a lot of burden on their shoulders, and we do need to step up as men. But see, let me tell you one problem I have, man, is what you saying, Blackistan. Black America is not Blackistan. We need, I don't know, what makes you even say that word? Like, I'm not from Blackistan. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Black America is not Blackistan. You feel me? Like, what you say that for?
Yeah. Blackistan was the term.
And another thing, I just got to ask.
Okay.
Okay. You breaking up.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm pretty sure everybody can hear me, so it might be breaking up on your end, but what really quickly, what's your second question, Rosie? All right. Well, the white man has taken Razi's internet connection out of the game. Why do we refer to this as Blackistan? Well, the reality is, for a lot of black people growing up in the black community, and the numbers show that 40% of black children, I think it's actually 50% of black children, are born in the lower fifth quintile, right? That means that a lot of our children are born in the lowest earning economic sections of the United States. Wherever there's poverty, you're going to have more violence. Wherever there's poverty, you're going to have more destruction. Wherever there's poverty, you're going to have lower property values. In some cases, in some communities, the houses literally look like they've been war-torn environments, or gone through some sort of massive tornado or bombing that utterly changed the entire face of the community. That's where Blackistan comes in. Now, aside from the fact that black men have been known to be extremely violent, have been known to play their community with criminal activities, violence, drug selling, and whatever it might be, as well as illegal weapon usage. Blackistan, in a lot of communities that a lot of people have grown up in, especially on this channel, is a direct reflection to the Middle Eastern countries that end in the stand, who have a lot of civil and warlike environments that their children grew up in as well. So just because you weren't one of the ones that grew up in a war-torn environment doesn't mean that a lot of people on this channel haven't, right? My father grew up in Blackistan, right? My mother grew up in another country. My father grew up in Blackistan, though. And it fundamentally shaped and changed who he was at a certain point in time. However, he was able to see the light, thank God, and he was able to reach and get a college education, the first in his family to grow up and get a college education and make himself something that most of his family members could not, right? So that's why we call it Blackistan. You can take personal offense to it if you'd like to. However, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Let it fly, all right? A lot of you are upset about Taz. Listen, this is my channel, ladies and gentlemen. I could do whatever I'd like to on my channel. If you don't agree, if you don't like it, then you don't have to watch, okay? If you don't agree with a certain stance or why I do certain things the way I do them.
You should break it up, bro.
All right, Razi, whatever you say, Razi, we're gonna have to take you down because I'm not sure what's going on with you. If you don't agree with whatever is going on, then you don't have to watch this right now. It's not like you're donating or supporting this anyways to begin with. This is free for you to watch. So if you don't agree with it, then you can leave. If I keep seeing your comments of contention or whatever you might have for me, then you'll be blocked and you have to create another YouTube account and then come back to hate again and you'll be blocked again. So this is a fair warning to you, okay? You can make your own channel and form your own opinions. However, on my channel, I can do exactly what I'd like to do, and I'm going to keep doing that, all right? Moving on to the super chats here. Alexander Brennan says, truth, black men leave white women, Hispanic women, and Asian women single mothers too, but black men don't want to talk about that. No, they don't, at a rate that is extremely morbidly high. The divorce rate for interracial marriages of black men with other races of women is ridiculous. We covered that in one of the past live streams, and I'll look up the rates in a little bit just to kind of refresh us on those statistics. Cerebral, $5 again, says Blackistan is a mentality most of black men suffers from, and it can be a location. He sounds like he's from there. Yeah, you know, it could go either way. Black Woman Sister here, we're going to come to you in 1 second. Thank you, Cerebral, for the $5 super chat once again. Miss Know-It-All says, LOL, there's a limit on how many letters I can type in a message. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, you're right about that. I appreciate that, Miss Know-It-All. And black men are disrespectful to black men, waste the best years of your life while looking forward to the next best thing. Thank you, Miss Know-It-All. You're right. There is a limit to how much you can super chat and how many characters. That's a good point. My ignorance is speaking there. Thank you. Black Woman Sisterhood, the floor is yours, my dear. It's so good to see you again.
Hey, Truth. It's very good to see you. Very good to see the panel. Thank you guys so much. So I just wanted to just say something very briefly. I just think it's very disrespectful how Taz came on this panel. I know right now you're kind of being the bigger person, but I really think it's disrespectful because I feel like you give a lot of homage and acknowledgement to Nyla and Cynthia G all the time. And so he's saying that you're still in stuff, but really you're not. Everybody in the black community, everybody on YouTube kind of borrows things from another person. Anything that's a popular term, people are going to use it. Mm-hmm. And so that's just kind of what I want to say here. I will not tolerate seeing people being rude in the comments. If I'm here, you will get timed out, and I don't care how popular you are or how big your channel is. And so that's just what I wanted to say. You guys can respectfully agree to disagree, but don't come here being rude. That's all I got to say.
So well said. So well said. You know, if the only issue that you want to bring to me is semi-aggressive, passive-aggressive contention, and you claim that you're on my side, then I obviously know that you're not on my side. With enemies like you, with friends like you, I don't need enemies. We call those frenemies. Hey, listen, I'm on the same side you for, but I got a problem with that. Well, then you're not on my side. It's very clear and evident and obvious that the tone that you're coming into this conversation with is not one that is on my side. Now, the Verbal Assassin said something here, so people can't change now. Come on, right? listen, if somebody has a Manosphere past and they say, man, hey, listen, I was watching your show and man, you're so right about some of the things you said. And I said, I really agree with what you have to say. That's exactly what I make this for. This is exactly what I do. Now, if you would rather me continue to be in the Manosphere and continue to disparage women like your wife, then let me know.
Hey, I see. I'm gonna hop off, man. Just to let more people come in. But yeah, man.
All right.
You take care.
You too, Jedi. Thank you so much. This is the entire point of my message, and this is why I have been completely obvious with my past. Taz, you might not know it. No, other people might not know it, but I've said it plenty of time.
Okay, true.
Taz can go in all he wants. That's not a problem with me. Yeah, Black Woman Sisterhood, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I got one last thing to say. You made a good point, and that was what I was actually going to ask too. If your whole point is to discourage men from being in the Black Manosphere, then why get mad at someone who's a former Black Manosphere member, or that genre? Why get mad at them for saying they had a change of heart? Like, isn't that the whole point of his platform?
Absolutely. It's a bit jealousy, if I'm being completely honest with you. The numbers growing, and as the numbers grow, as we continue to break new barriers, we've had situations in the past where I had another record-breaking stream, right? And then we had an issue that we were dealing with, somebody that claimed that they were on my side, right? Y'all know, and some of y'all were watching that issue as well. It's a bit of jealousy, if I'm being completely honest with you, and it's a bit of trying to push one's own agenda, right? So there's a reason why Taz showed up on the stream where we had 600 people watching, and he wasn't on any of the streams beforehand, right? We got to be honest here, right? There's a reason for it. So, but a good point, Black Woman Sisterhood. I appreciate that. Alexander said truth. I'm coming on the panel. Alexander, we're going to be wrapping this up here in a little bit. We're going for 3 hours, but I appreciate everybody for being here. Let's just try and be respectful in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate everybody for being here. It's been really a great live stream. And this has been absolutely amazing. So I'm so happy to see this. New records. We're going to go with everybody's final words here in a second. Razi, I'm going to have to take you down because I know you're having some connection issues, man. Jay hasn't said anything. Big J, Big J, we'll try and bring you on next time, Big J. We're kind of wrapping up right now, though. We're going to go back to DA, but before DA, I want to let Jay speak. Jay, did you have something you wanted to say really quickly?
Yeah, I had this is the wrap up moment, but I had a lot to say in regards to truck driver dude.
Okay, sure. What was one thing you wanted to address to him directly?
It was a lot. It was a lot.
I know.
The loyalty part, I don't understand when Black men are the most known to abandon their children, abandon their women, cheat, have polygamous relationships without their woman's consent, carry STDs. I recently someone just told me that literally her friend's baby daddy ended up having sex with her cousin, and she got her pregnant, gave her an STD. She gave birth, had a stillbirth. The baby daddy didn't let her know that he had an STD. He gave her the STD, and they had to the baby was gone, a lost cause, shit like that I hear. I have tons of stories of my friends, educated Black women helping Black men, literally with them just leaving them, or within a second, oh, you're too fat, and then within a second, deuces.
Right.
Bringing them from the bottom up. My problem is, we all know Black men have mental health issues, right? Even the Ronnie O'Neal, whatever his name is, that killed his disabled daughter. Obviously, he has psychotic issues, he saw the white devil and all that crap, right? I don't just look at people and say, oh, they're born evil. I know there are things generationally passed and stuff like that. But it's at a certain point, you gotta get some fucking mental help for your issues, your demonic ways. 1 in 4, the loyalty, I don't understand. 1 in 4 Black women get raped by age 18. And that is also a reason why there's so many women that are hypersexual. either when you get raped, you're either hypersexual or you're very like to yourself.
Right.
And like they don't understand how to like analyze situations, introspection, to like figure out, oh, why these women angry, why are they saying that we're disloyal? Like it's just stupidity. I just think it's plain stupidity. That's all it is. It's not, it's like,
Jay, we're gonna kind of wrap it up here a little bit, Jay. We're gonna wrap it up a bit, okay?
All right. So basically, yeah. I mean,
well, listen.
Black women just do better. Just don't. You can find a good black man. Like there's a few, but please do not try to help these niggas. Unless these niggas want to go get mental help. If they want to go into therapy with you, then go ahead. But if not, deuces. Like go for whoever loves you. All right. That's
absolutely. Absolutely. So well said, Jay. I appreciate that and that input. Thank you for the pause and thank you for your patience. $10 super chat from Charlene Sassy and Entertaining says, can you keep going for one more hour? Yeah, well, I don't want to make it too long. We'll go on for a bit longer. Well, I don't want to make it too long, though, because it helps the audience retention rate and that'll help for the analytics a bit. But we'll continue this conversation, right? We'll continue this conversation. Definitely. We'll be back in a couple of days. I'm not going to take too much time off before we come back to the next one. Mocha Mommy, the floor is yours, Mocha Mommy. So good to see you again.
Thank you. I just wanted to answer DA's question about what do educated Black women offer and do they never do anything for Black men? And I just want to let you know that, when it comes to like adult education, as far as who's teaching the GED classes, who's teaching the job training programs for adults, it's mostly Black women. So we are actually sometimes sacrificing our own salaries, to make sure we're bringing up Black men so that they can compete more economically. It's always us who are out there tutoring for a fraction of our salary, even myself included. I left the hospital system to be a nursing instructor. My salary, that was 2/3 of a pay cut that I took to go tutor and help low income students. So that's a lot of us. I mean, I think about my soror who she's in the banking industry. She's always going to these churches to do things with first time home buyers out of her free time. She could easily get paid thousands of dollars, to be doing this, but she'll do it for free. So a lot of times we are there trying to bring up everyone, but at the same time, a lot of that's not reciprocated. And a lot of times you just see the younger generation, they don't want to do it anymore. They see their aunties, their grandmas who are making all these sacrifices, who are investing in these businesses and then get cheated on or abandoned, or when he get on, he leave your ass for a white girl. And now the younger generation of Black women, they don't want to do it. We're kind of like a dying breed of women who want to actually invest, because the younger generation, Gen Z, some of these younger millennials, they're not doing it anymore. They would rather be single and travel and start their own businesses and live life on their own terms than to invest in Black men where they're getting no return. And, to be honest, I can't even be mad about it. Like I remember even during the Obamacare days, a lot of the young nurses would come to these low income hospitals because it was paying back student loans. And they were always getting cussed out and being talked to disrespectfully by a lot of the Black male patients. And then when, the what came and they got offered higher paying contract positions, they bounced. Like, why stay here and get disrespected for pennies on the dollar? And now that Obamacare is over and they're not paying back student loans, these young Black nurses are leaving. And you just have to just realize that, if you're talking about what do you bring to the table and your education doesn't mean anything, all that knowledge and experience and resources that we have, you don't value it anyway, So it just really is between a rock and a hard place. So if we have education, you are very antagonistic to it. But if we donate it, we get no reciprocity as far as having more Black homeowners or having improved health outcomes in our communities. So there's really no point anymore. And it's, it's almost like you have to really tell the next generation when they say, what's the point? I was like, you know what? There really isn't much. And it's a sad but true reality. So I just wanted to make sure I said that to DA. So you feel like as if we're not attacking you, but just kind of giving you a reason. Even when I come on this panel and I bring actual research for actually what's happening in our community, nobody can ever refute it, but they always have something to say. So I just wanted to give you that.
Very good point, Mokamami. So well said. And Mokamami is an educated woman, in case you're wondering, DA. There's no reciprocity. I think that's the point to take away there. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Something that we always say and echo as far as the sentiment goes on this panel. You can't win. You just can't win. And that's the tough part. That's what makes this so tough to get across the hearts and the souls of Black males who seek to just thrive in their degeneracy, right? And apparently even the ones that are on their side seem to simply take up the thoughts and the point in the side of the manosphere, right? As far as their contentions that go against me. It's fascinating. Big J, we'll let you back on. I know that we took you down the first time. I didn't think we were going to keep going. We'll go a bit longer. We'll have to mute you. Hold on a second, Big J. I'm going to let on. I think we had Kenshawn already go on. I think everybody's already spoken for the most part. Big J, we're going to go ahead and let you go really quickly because everybody else has spoken. I want to hear what you have to say in this. We'll just try and keep it quick.
So the question I'd like to ask is, it's actually two questions. Are we talking about Black men that we see, or this is anecdotal, or this is what we experience on social media?
Well, from your experience, what are the Black men that you see doing right now from your experience?
Well, I mean, if we talking about social media, it's very poorly. But
it's not just social media. The statistics show that Black men are dead last in every aspect of socio-capitalistic America. Do you know that? Or
well, I beg to differ. I think that's Native Americans. If you look at Native American, because some statistic doesn't include Native Americans, but how can you say that when most Black men, or should I say there are more Black men in college than they are in the penal system? So
let's address
that makes sense.
Okay, that's not necessarily true.
I'll let Mokamami go.
According to who, ma'am?
Okay. Well, that's not necessarily okay. So this is the difference between quantitative and qualitative statistical analysis. Between 18 and 24, yes, there are more Black men in college than in the prison system. But if you're talking about numbers overall, we're talking about the prison population overall. That would be between 17 and 73, 74. Then there would technically be more Black men in prison. So you can't necessarily right. And you're right. You're right. There is a huge systemic problem when it comes to Black male incarceration versus college education. But you can't say there's more Black men in college than there are in prison, because that wouldn't necessarily be true.
Right. It's great.
Okay. Point. Well, I'll tell you what then, ma'am.
And I want to say one thing before you continue here. Native Americans live on their own reserves. They're known as what's called a sovereign citizen. They don't operate by the same guides and rules as the rest of us in socio-capitalistic America. You understand that, right?
Right, though, but
so we can't compare.
Many of those,
we're gonna compare. We're gonna compare. I know you know everything. I know you're one of the most educated brothers in the most educated group of men, Black men in America. I get it, but you're comparing apples to oranges. Let's compare apples to apples and men who actually compete on the same level in every endeavor. As far as socio-capitalistic America goes, the Native Americans live on reservations. All right, they're not living where you're living. Okay, they have their own land and completely different economic ecosystem. All right, now to your second point, I forgot your second question, what it even was, but I'll give you a couple more seconds to try and get your point across here.
Here's my second question to you, and I hang up. What was the reason why though you was in the manosphere?
Yeah, the reason I was in the manosphere is because I was a hateful person that felt like my girlfriend shouldn't have left me because I was homeless, and because I thought that loyalty should have still been enough to pay the bills, when in reality she was a collegiately educated woman who was with a homeless bum living in his car who didn't have a college degree. And so that's the reason why I was in the manosphere, because I heard men saying that, oh, you know what, she shouldn't have left you. Oh, you know what, you're better. Oh, you know what, love is sometimes about love. And when you love a woman, she doesn't love you back right. And I dove headfirst into that. And I thought that I was able to make myself a better person by listening to men destroy women online, only to realize that after a couple of years, I was still homeless and earning the same amount of money than when she left me. And then I realized that I wasn't shit as a person, and that everything I was listening to wasn't making my life better. So that's why I was in the manosphere.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up with me.
You're welcome, Big J.
All right, thank you.
All right. Big J with the good questions there. So good to see y'all. with the good questions. Big J was at least respectful, so I got to give him that. DA, you've been respectful as well. Now, DA said something while Mocha Mami was talking, and he wanted to know, and he wondered why more black men were in prison. DA, you said something that made it kind of alleged to the fact that somehow it's black women that are responsible for black men being in prison right now.
No, that wasn't the case, but I was saying like what the point she was making, what's that point? If it is like y'all going on numbers, like what's the point of if it is, so what? That's all I was saying.
Okay. Well, I think the best way that I could kind of answer that for you would just be to look at the studies, so you're going to have to kind of do your own research there. But there's a very large percentage, an abnormally large percentage in comparison to how many black men are between the ages of X and X that are incarcerated compared to the rest of men who are of similar age to them, as far as how much percentage of the population they make up in America. For instance, black men are probably 6% of the population in America, I think, maybe, because I don't know, we're 13% of America, roughly. And so black women are 2.5 million, about 6%. Okay, cool. So for 6% of the population in America, and we're talking about ages 0 to 100, might I add, not just whatever it might be, but for 6% of the population in America to make up roughly 30, I believe, to 35% of the jailhouse population federally, that's a pretty staggering statistic, man. That's a serious. We're talking about literally probably closer to 2% of the population that can actually be actively incarcerated, making up nearly 30% of the federal incarceration rate. That's a serious number, man. Right? There's something very wrong there. That doesn't make numerical sense. So there is a big epidemic, and the numbers are going down. I got an email from a black brother the other day, said, "Oh, truth, the numbers, we're getting incarcerated less." To which I had to say, "Great. That's good. That's what we're doing, what we should be doing. We can't give cookies to black males for doing exactly what they should be doing in the first place, i.e. not going to jail." Okay. The bar is set so low for black males as far as what can be praised or, praiseworthy publicly, that now we're starting to praise black men for not going to jail as much. That's a problem. If we have to praise black men for not going to jail, then that lets us know that there's a lot of black men going to jail, right?
True. It is embarrassing, man. But I'm going to stop being so bitter, bro. When you say that, you said some real defiant. I got to stop being so bitter because I just had a few experiences, but I can't knock all the black women. That's all. That's you right, bro. I got to stop being so bitter and boss up a little more. You know what I'm saying? That's real, though. That's some real terminology.
DA, man, I tell you what, bro.
Thank you.
That's what saved my life, man, and your life's gonna be so much better. Mocha Mami, did somebody want to say something to him? You said thank you. I forget who said that.
Mr. Honest truth, this is Diana. I've been waiting.
I'm sorry, Diana. Let me go 1 second. I'll address DA and then I'll let you go, Diana. I'm sorry. DA, man, much respect, bro. That's what it's all about, man. You live one life, man. Life is so short. We were born in the best country in the world, man. People die just to get to this country. People sail across oceans in rafts just to get to this country. And we're in the best country, the richest country in the world, man. You have it. You can be anything you want to be, bro. And I know you can. You have a good head on your shoulders, man. You got your whole life in front of you, man. I'm excited for you, DA. I really am, brother. Winners win, man. And I'm excited for you, man. I'm really excited. That's what it's all about, bro. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Go ahead, Diana.
I just wanted to say, just on this whole panel that you talked about black men having no value. Black men need to stop valuing the wrong stuff. They need to start valuing things that don't cost money. Because I actually work in San Francisco across from Twitter. Do you know how many black men I've seen in that building working? Do you want to guess how many black men I've seen working at Twitter? Would you like to guess?
It's probably not many.
One.
Jeez. Yeah.
And it's really sad. There's not many black men working in San Francisco, period.
And
it's
Loren,
really sad. And it's not
Diana.
just the rents. It's just not the rents of living. It's not being able to compete, not having the education, not being able to have the same economic opportunities as other races of men. I see it every day.
Yeah. Loren said the same thing that you did, Diana. She works in a sports marketing firm, or at least she did for 10 years. And it's disheartening. She said the only black men that she sees are usually the janitors in the building. And she said, I work for a sports marketing agency, and you would think, because black men obviously love NBA and NFL passionately, right? You would think that they would take on corporate or white collar jobs that have to deal with something as far as their interests are concerned, which is professional sports. But even then, she publicly claims that she does not see any black males. I think she said she might have seen or worked with 2, I believe. And Loren, she'll call in some point. We can kind of re-verify this with her. But she didn't see, and I'll put you on mute real quick, DA, just because of the echo and the feedback. She didn't see hardly any black men except for the ones that are responsible for cleaning the building. And that's what we're saying, right? When more black women start to see a representation of themselves as far as masculinity in these spaces, then inherently there's going to be more of a level of respect or submission that you claim that you want from the women. When they see you in the positions of power, then they will walk in that femininity in your power. Women respect authority, no matter who it is. That's just how they're hardwired, right? So when you exude the authority, the respect that women naturally, biologically have been hardwired to evolve in and thriving in, then they're naturally going to follow your lead, right? This is why I always say winners are going to win in life. It doesn't matter what race you are. If you're a winner, you're a winner, and every race of women is going to see that. So just make yourself a winner. It's that simple. Just make yourself a winner. You don't have to hate anybody. You don't have to live on this hill and die on the hill of people who make their entire existence watching a man berate and destroy women night after night after night. I mean, come on. At some point, we got to let it go, guys. We got to let it go, man. We got to let it go. We got to change our own lives. We got to be men about it. That's what we have to do. We have to be men. Once you're a man, and once we have more men in the community, then things start to change. Then your women start to respect a different type of collective majority. But until the collective majority is representation of what you want yourself to be, as far as competition and likewise comparisons of other men, then you're always going to have a certain amount, or your women that are going to seek power or seek or acknowledge power that other people have, that other groups of men have. Because hey, power is power, right? We could say things all day long, but when you pull up in a Ferrari to race, you're probably going to win the race. There's not that many other people that are going to lose to you in that race. Just try and be the best version of a Ferrari that you can be, man. I think the Game of Thrones scene that we played last week was really good when Littlefinger came up and he was doing all the talking. Remember that? Some of y'all haven't seen the scene. I won't show it right now, but he was doing all this talking and threatening the queen, right? He made it seem like because he knew everything, because he had it all figured out, that somehow that alluded to his power that he had over her. When all she has to do is say, seize him and cut off his head, and then the rest is taking care of itself. We can say whatever we want to as black men, right? We really can. But until we're actually showing the power that we claim that we have now, that our women aren't following, everything we say is just null and void, because true power is seen, right? But until you have that, then you can always say whatever you want to say, right? However, if you do actually find yourself in a position of true power, you'll see just how quickly things change for you in life, because that's the way that life goes in America. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being on this live panel. I want to give a huge shout out to Khalil, to DA, to Kiera, like always, to Jay, to Kenshawn, who didn't get to go in the last final words, and to Diana. I'm going to take all of us down right now. And we're going to be back in a couple of days. Make sure we come back, everybody. It's been such an honor having you here. And thank you again, DA. I appreciate you, man. I'm going to take everybody down. It's been such an honor having you here. We're going on 3 hours, so I did extend it for a bit. We will be back in a couple of days, right? I am planning the next live stream, and I was going to make it the Golden Dusty. Bye-bye, Kiera. Bye-bye, my dear. I was going to make it the Golden Dusty stream. We might just do a part 2 to this, because obviously we had a record-breaking amount of live viewers, 600 and something, I believe. That is a new record. Where's my transition here? You've been watching the Truth Seekers Live podcast. This has been a roller coaster, ladies and gentlemen, an absolute roller coaster. However, I'm glad that there is a bit of a change that's starting to take place in a lot of the minds and the hearts of our men. At the end of the day, that is what I seek. That is the purpose and the goal of this channel, to alleviate the playing field for a lot of our women. Because as men, our purpose is to defend women. No matter what your history is, where you've been in life, no matter what you feel or how you feel, the position and the position of authority that you have been given by your natural phenotypical attributes is that you should defend your women by any means necessary, because at the end of the day, that's how we have evolved as a civilization and as a culture. So that's the issue that I have with a lot of our men, and that's a stance that I'll continue to take for the rest of my life now, right? And come with whatever might happen, I'm ready for that, right? But I really feel like tonight's live stream was a breakthrough for the next level. I'm excited for the future and for where everything's going right now. I really am. I never thought that I would be in this position right now, that so many people would take what I have to say seriously. But that lets me know that obviously I'm in the right track right now. Obviously I'm doing the right thing, right? And there's no smooth road that's paved to success, right? But at the end of the day, if we can handle the situations that might cause speed bumps or rocks in the road that might cause some adversity, that only makes us better drivers on the road to success. And so I want to encourage you as you go out throughout the rest of your days, the rest of the week. What is today? Is today Saturday? As you go throughout the rest of the weekend, we'll be back Monday. I'm not going to be back tomorrow. We might have a hangout stream tomorrow. I don't know. We might just have a hangout stream. One in the chat if you want to do a hangout stream tomorrow. When we do the hangout streams, I don't have really much to say or prepare for because these take a long time to prepare and write. But if we do a hangout stream tomorrow, then we can. Oh, today's Sunday. I forget. It's midnight. We can just kind of come together. And if you want to watch, you can chime in, watch, and speak your mind. I know a lot of you might not understand why I have to cut people off, but I have to, because if I don't, it kind of takes the stream to a lot of different places. And so forgive me if I cut you off. I want you to know I love you. All right. Both men and women. I love you. Pause moment in LA. Just understand that that's why I have to do it, because we have to kind of keep everything on track. And the live show is a bit different from most shows. But we'll be back tomorrow if a lot of you want to. I know a lot of you are going to type 1, 2 if you don't want to. Nobody's going to type 2, obviously, right? I'll be like, no, I don't want to watch tomorrow. So kind of a rhetorical question there, right? We might make a live stream and a hangout tomorrow. We can come back and kind of follow up some of the discussions, and I won't cut people off as much, because if we're just hanging out, we'll let people talk for as long as they want to. All right. So save your questions for the live stream tomorrow, and we can join if we want to. All right. I see your comment by Kitty. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this. I think this is one of the better streams that we've done so far. Covered a lot of grounds. And once again, I want to give a huge shout out to DA and all the other men that had points of contention. But we're willing to at least have the conversation to get the ball moving in the understanding of why we do what we do here. At the end of the day, I hope that you realize and understand that the women here in Black America, period, aren't here to chastise you. Rather, it's just an emotional, frustrational outreach or outburst that they're having. And it's very well grounded. Right? Just as you might see that your own emotions, just as I thought my emotions in the past were very well grounded, even though they really weren't, they have a severe reason for being in certain types of emotional turmoil or distress. As a man, it's our responsibility to take a step back to assess the situation from 32,000 feet altitude and say, okay, what's really going on? This is all growth as a man. This is something that you have to first hear, or at least be taught from other men. And really accept as a man that, you know what, I had to take a step back and really assess and not react, right? But respond. Don't just react, but respond. And I find that when I do that in certain situations in life, if I'm in the middle of line and somebody disrespects me and I don't snap off on them, but I take a second, I say, okay. And I talk to them in a very calm, level-headed way. I find that if I respond versus react, most of the time situations in life are going to be a lot better for you. But when you always emotionally react, that's when things start to get a bit rocky, right? So as men, I just want to leave us with that message. Respond. Don't react. Responding is always going to go better. This has been Truth Seekers Live, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a Discord. I'm not going to drop the link to it because I'm never there, and really nobody talks on the Discord. But we'll be back tomorrow night for the hangout. I love you all. I want you to be safe during the rest of your Saturday evening. And once again, we will be back. Thank you for joining me. It's really been an honor. And 600 live people watching. 600. If you were to place 600 people in a room, that's a lot of people. 4,200 subscribers I think we have right now. That's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people. Oh, man. I'm excited, y'all. Thanks again to Tony Morrison, Organic Black, for the last Cash App as well. Organic Black, thank you so much for that Cash App. That was very encouraging, and I appreciate that, as well as Kier 101, our top 3 contributors to the channel. Make sure that you watch this on the replay if you made it to the end. Make sure you check out the other live streams, because a lot of them are just as dynamic as this one. A lot of good treasure troves of knowledge in there. Until we meet again, ladies and gentlemen, I am out. TheHonestTruthYT@gmail.com. I love you, and I'm glad that you love me. We'll talk soon. Good night.